Ready or not, summer is coming, and Wayfair's Memorial Day clearance is on now. Right now through May 25th, get up to 70% off everything home at Wayfair. Plus, score amazing doorbuster deals all sale long and surprise flash deals on Memorial Day. We're talking thousands of products at every style and budget. Now is the time to save big on must-haves for your patio, backyard, and beyond. These savings won't last, so don't wait. Shop Wayfair's Memorial Day clearance now through May 25th.
Wayfair, every style, every home.
It's time for the Larry H. Miller Utah Summer Games at Southern Utah University in Cedar City. Register today to participate in the 40th anniversary season of a Utah sports tradition at utahsummergames.org. Participate in over 50 sports around the state. Then plan to join the opening ceremonies Friday, June 5th, presented by State Bank of Southern Utah. Register today to participate in the 40th anniversary season of the Larry H. Miller Utah Summer Games.
Good morning, DJ and PK. It's 97.5 the KSL Sports Zone. Welcome in on a Wednesday morning. Man, I didn't think there was any way the Knicks and the Cavs could top Game 1 of the Western Finals between the Spurs and the Thunder. And to be honest, I'm not sure they did top it. But that was wildly entertaining. I mean, that was – I don't know how the Knicks dug that big a hole. I'm still not clear how they got out of that big a hole. And yet they did. They closed that game on a 44-11 run. Wild. A wild turn of events. Cleveland had a 22-point lead. The Knicks with soft turnovers. Donovan Mitchell getting steals, getting layups. It was wild. They were just flying. And then all of a sudden, just an 18-1 run so fast. Now, there were some things that happened that are very explainable. And they would add up to a run, and they would add up to an entertaining finish, but don't necessarily add up to a win. First off, and we always talk about this in the playoffs, whatever happens, view it through the lens of the Jazz, right? Now, the Jazz have been a terrible defensive team, partly of their own doing because they're trying to tank games. But they did have guys, and I was talking to somebody, I was talking to a former coach about it, and he's like, yeah, well, they made the test optional. Or they made the meeting optional at work. You can't really test your players. If the boss says you don't have to come to a meeting, you don't, and then you don't really know who's good in the meeting and how the meeting would go if everybody's there. And when everybody knows they're tanking, the defense is going to slip. But guys, and a young player like Keontae George has been struggling. You got to get better on defense because you want to get to the playoffs, and I think you have the talent to get there. I think you have the talent, maybe even put yourself in a situation where you might be able to win the series. Maybe like the Mammoth, you don't, but the Mammoth at least put themselves in a situation where they had a chance. They were up 2-1. They ultimately lose in 6. But they took the Eyes 2-2 in Game 5. They had a chance, right? They had a chance. And I think the Jazz can put themselves in that situation. Maybe they'll be able to pull off a win in that first round next year. But you don't want to put yourself in that kind of stage and then be exposed the way James Harden was, where they are going you every time they get a chance. They are hunting you. And as bad as it was, and it was bad, I'm not going to kid you, it was bad. Brunson had 13 points in that 18-1 run, and that run took about 3 minutes. There was still like 3 or 4 minutes left, and they were back in the game. If he could have done anything at the offensive end, Harden was 1 for 6 shooting the ball at the end of the game, and it was a struggle. Now, he did hit a big one with 30 seconds left to break a tie game and put him up by 2, and they needed 1 stop, but they went at him again, and they scored, and the Knicks scored. They targeted him, and they got to overtime, and they won the game. They started overtime with like a 9-0 run. So that's one thing. You got to get better defensively because you don't want to be exposed the way James Harden was exposed. That was awful. And if you are going to struggle like that, at least do something on the offensive end. If you get outscored 44-18, that'd be terrible, but you'd win the game. They just couldn't do it. They were missing free throws. They were missing open mid-range shots. Harden airballed a 3. There was some crazy stuff going. Donovan Mitchell had an unforced error, whipped a pass out of bounds behind Harden. I don't know what was going on there. That was not good. Having said all that, bad breaks, man. Sam Merrill's 3 at the end of regulation. It looked like the Aggie was going to win the game. Looked like he was going to treat the Knicks like they were San Diego State in the Mountain West Conference tournament. But the thing spun out. So the Knicks win Game 1. Now, I feel a lot like the Western Conference, game 1 goes OT. And a bunch of crazy stuff happened. So let's see how games 2 and 3 go, and then we'll make some decisions at that point. But let's see some more. It was one wild game, and it could have gone either way. By definition, an OT game can go either way, and in the West, a double OT game can go either way. So nothing definitive, although Knicks and Thunder have to be happy they got one of the 4. They just got to split the last 6 now. That was unreal. I can't believe that Harden got beat up that badly. I couldn't believe they didn't get him out, but I guess, ride or die with him, I guess. But get him out. He's getting picked on. He's got nothing going. Now, if this starts to happen again in game 2, they got to get him out then, right? I mean, right? Right? This is like watching game 2 in the West tonight. They're not gonna put like a 6'4" guy on Wemby and hope that just by getting into his legs, you'll control him as much as you possibly can. They're going to rotate some bigger guys in there. He just went for 41 points and 24 boards against the small guys. You're going to try something different, right? Adjustments and all that. It's hard to beat teams 3 times in a row in the playoffs. We know all the cliches, but why wait that long? How about game 2? Make a difference in game 2. That's what we're looking for. And I just wonder how closely the Jazz players are watching this and how much they're absorbing the lessons. Man, when I was raising kids, I dropped this line once. Don't learn from your mistakes. The kids whip their heads around. I mean, they're in elementary school at this point. They're like, I don't know what, dropping this on a 7-year-old or something, 8-year-old, whatever. They're like, learn from other people's mistakes. If that kid gets in trouble, if that kid's unhappy with what he did and he's bawling his eyes out, don't do it. Learn from his mistakes. Don't be bawling your eyes out. Don't be unhappy. Don't get yourself in trouble. So watch these playoffs, man, and learn from other people's mistakes. There's a lot to be seen and a lot to be learned. And probably more tonight. Game 2 in the West. I expect Shai Gilgeous-Alexander to have a better game. I can't believe Wemby's going to go off like that again. The Spurs are going to be at home, feeling a lot of urgency not to drop back-to-back home games. So I assume the Thunder get the win tonight. I expect the Thunder to get the win tonight. Really, the only thing they probably can't replicate. Jalen Williams had a good game, but it wasn't that out of the ordinary. Caruso went off. Caruso really went off. Probably can't replicate that, but there's a bunch of other stuff. And then there's the weird oddity of these game 1s that they both went to overtime tied at 101. And, okay, so that's an oddity, but the lesson there is these games in the regular season where it takes 110 to win, and if you get 120, you're almost certainly going to win, or if you give up 120, you're almost certainly going to lose. Hey, it gets different. You want to win at that level, you better be very good defensively. And the thing is, it still comes down to, it's still a make-or-miss league, and shots go in or shots don't go in. If you watch the fourth quarter of that Eastern Conference game 1 last night, there's a Bridges. Shot clock's down. He's driving across the lane. He gets into the paint, but he can't turn and square up. He dribbles out the other side. He dribbles out to the 3-point line. It's a turnaround jumper from 3. I mean, my gosh, you want him to take that shot every time. I can't believe that thing went in. But that's not the one that beat him. It's all the good shots they got to beat him. It's all the stuff they got inside of 10 feet at the rim. That's what beat him. It's all the empty possessions at the other end, the missed free throws. But there's definitely a make-or-miss thing going on, right? And they had a 3 that I think it was Landry Shamet hit that danced on the rim 3 or 4 times. Hey, man, stuff happens. But you had a bunch of other stops. So when you're trying to turn 120 into 101, you're not going to lock them every time. You're going to make mistakes. Shots are going to go in. But 20 points, that's 5 points a quarter. That's 2 or 3 possessions a quarter you're trying to impact. Maybe you don't foul and give them free throws. Maybe there's a 2 you don't give up or a 3 you rotate to, whatever it is. That's what you're talking about. You got to knock yourself out on every possession, all quarter long, 100 a night, just hoping to influence a couple possessions a quarter the other way. Because if you do that, 2 or 3 possessions per quarter, you're going to end up saving yourself 20 points. Because 121 to 120, it happens in a regular season. Don't expect it to happen in the playoffs. It's not how it works. You got to play better than that. All right, DJ and PK, it's 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Coming up this morning, we've got Chris Hill talking college basketball at the University of Utah. We got Bronson Kaufusi talking about a charity football game coming up. That's all next. Stay with us. DJ and PK, it's 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. DJ and PK, we're joined now by Bronson Kaufusi, former BYU football player. He's now promoting the Charity of Champions football event. Bronson, good morning.
Good morning. How's it going?
It is going well this morning. How's it going for you? What are you up to these days?
Oh, man, just staying busy, helping athletes, chasing kids around, all of those things.
So what is this charity thing you got going? Tell us about it.
So this all came from, I've gone down and played in Aaron Rodgers' charity flag football event, and there's been a few throughout the years. And I just wanted to bring it to Utah. So people sponsor teams. They bring 6 to 7 of their friends. Then we add 3 or 4 NFL players to their team, and you play flag football 4-on-4 for the day. And all the kids can come. 8 and under are free. And it's such a rare, opportunity to have, over 40 NFL players, current and former, in one place, and, allowing the kids to get to meet these heroes. And, because really one conversation can change their life. It happened last year multiple times. Parents were texting me afterwards, like, thank you so much. Our kid talked to Dalton Kincaid, and ever since that conversation, he's been training hard every day. And Tyler Algier was there. We had a lot of former guys, Danny Sorensen, Nate Orchard, Malik Jackson. Like we had a lot of guys there, and it was just amazing.
So what are the details on this? When, where, how do people get there? What does it cost, if anything? How does this all work?
Yeah, so the date is going to be June 27th, and it'll be here in Utah. It'll be at Corner Canyon High School, and you can buy tickets at chariotchampionsutah.com. And so how it works is for general admission tickets, they're $15. And those are like up in the stands. But then if you want a VIP ticket to be on the field with the guys, those are $150, but those are all on the site. And then, but 8 and under are free. So that way we can get a lot of the youth kids. And we have discount codes for all the youth football teams, high school youth. We just want everyone there because it's just, it's just so rare to have that many NFL guys in one place here in Utah.
So who's going to be catching those bullets you're going to be throwing at quarterback?
Oh, man, we got some real – last year, what's awesome about it is there's no rusher, right? So it's very similar to 7-on-7 where they just, you have 4 seconds to throw the ball. And so, last year I was on Team Traeger, and we played in the championship and got beat last second there. It was a close one by Team Lux. So, yeah, we'll have 10 teams this year. So, but all the guys, it's so fun to play with NFL guys in their environment or close to it, right? You don't get that opportunity. So it's fun to be out there, and the competition starts to rise. And these guys get more serious as we go because the tournament gets a little bit more heated. And it's fun to feel that, as someone that's never been out there before, right?
Yeah. Nobody wants to lose.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It gets intense.
Do you have all the commitments from the players? You got a long list of guys coming back?
Yeah. So, yeah, we have a lot of guys coming, which I'm super excited about. What's cool too is players, will come just like last second, and because they'll hear about it and be like, oh my gosh, I totally want to be there. And it's just so fun because the field's smaller. So, you can guard some of these guys, right? As best you can, but you get that opportunity, and it's safer. It's like no one really like opens up full speed, I would say, unless it's on like the first play, because you have the full 35 yards to go score a touchdown.
So you do you have the guys? Do they go both ways, or do you rotate in and out?
So they go both ways, and if they want. Or it's funny because, some of the guys that play offense, like in the NFL,
yeah,
they just want to play defense the whole time. Yeah. So, they can do, or they want to play quarterback, right? And, it's so fun. And some of the guys are just there to hang out and walk around, right? And what's cool about it is the people who sponsor the teams, that money goes towards all the NFL players' charities and to other ones as well. So, we have the opportunity to help, we can help over 20 charities all at once through kind of like this larger event. Yeah. So, it's neat because, so many NFL guys locally have charities, Kyle Van Noy, Britton Covey, Garrett Bowles, all these guys have charities. And so it's really cool to be able to have something where all the charities win by bringing everyone together to have really, Utah's premier NFL player event.
How many of the guys are you connected with full-time, and how much is this a treat for you to get to see guys that maybe you don't have as much contact with?
Oh, man. It is so fun to be with these guys. Just because, the NFL season, it gets busy, right? You have OTAs that are going on right now, and then they have like a 5-week break. So getting to see them before they go into the season it really is a treat. And just to reconnect and see what's going on. I love helping players off the field, be successful and be able to transition. But also, one of the most important things is knowing that, hey, you know what? I am going to hang it up one day. And so I need to come to these types of events to network and meet people and just be curious to ask questions and, be able to kind of set some roots down for when I do finish playing because, not everyone gets to choose when they're done playing.
That's for sure. Are you following the Cougars at all still?
Oh, yeah, of course. Of course.
Right. Well, they've had 2 really good seasons under Coach Sataki. I would think that that's got to make you happy as an alum to see them do well. Just gives general assessment of the program because it seems like in the last 2 to 3 years, they've taken major strides.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of excitement there. Especially, this year, this upcoming year, I feel like they're reloading in a lot of different areas. They have a strong O-line, quarterback with Bear coming back. They've added a few key pieces at tight end with those guys coming in, the wide receiver core. So, and then defense, right? You're able to reload with some of those defensive players. It's really exciting, right? I think one thing that's really helped BYU is being on the recruiting side, right? Being in a conference, I think is major, and being able to have depth. So that way, if your number 1 goes down, the number 2, 3 can get in there and play at a high level. And so I think they're going to reap a lot of benefit there, just from their recruiting pipeline.
You avoided the letters N, I, and L while answering that question. I'm curious, what do you guys say in NFL locker rooms when the talk turns to NIL and rookies come in? And rookies can say things like, oh, I don't have to touch the contract money because I'm pretty well set with the NIL money. How much eye rolling is there among the veterans in NFL locker rooms?
I had a really unique experience where, I think it was like my first week at the Ravens, and Steve Smith comes up to me. I knew Steve because Steve was at Utah when my dad was there coaching, and I was just a little kid running around asking him for his gloves. So, he came up to me and he's like, hey, do you think you could survive off $1 million the rest of your life? And I was like, no, I think I need to work still. And he's like, absolutely, read this book. And he gave me Richest Man in Babylon. And so I read that book, and that book was the first financial book I had really read. I graduated in statistics and analytics, but I really I didn't know a lot of money, right? But, from that moment on, when I finished the book, he came up to me and he's like, hey, what'd you think? I was like, oh, it was great. There's a lot of good principles in there. And he's like, hey, it's important to know where every penny is. And so that experience, I feel like for me, set me up for success just from a veteran player, helping me understand the importance of the opportunity that you have in such a small window of time. And so to maximize and leverage it is vital. And so what's really neat and something I'm super motivated around is, can we educate mom, dad, brother, sister, player at the high school level because they're curious now, right? Because of what's coming. And can we instill financial principles that allow them to root down so that way when they go into college, everyone is set, everyone understands the bigger picture, the bigger plan, and understand like, hey, this could set us up for a really long time if we do it right. And if we apply the knowledge, that we get as we research and find great people to advise us.
Did you see guys at the pro level wasted away?
Yes. Oh yeah. And it wasn't because, I felt like a lot of the players that struggled on that front, it was just, 2-3 layers deep. They didn't have a great, group, a great network, or an uncle or someone in the space that is high level when it comes to, wealth management, financial advisory, things like that. It's hard because if you don't have anyone 2-3 layers deep, what do? A lot of players just turn to the first person they talk to. And the first person you talk to isn't always the best person to go with, because you need to be able to, have multiple people and be able to ask questions and deep dive with, I want to talk to at least 5 people and bounce ideas off of multiple people. That's a big thing that I that's helped me is, okay, how do you choose a financial team? How do you choose, even on the agency side, like what is a track record? How do I look that up? How do I break that down? And so to me, it's always more than football in all of it, right? I help out with, OG1 Athletes, which is, NFL NIL agency founded by Bruce Tollner. If you guys know that name.
Yeah, that's Whittingham's agent. Tollner
is his dad.
Yeah.
And so, on that front, it's been, it's he's been my agent for a long time. And he's, not every agent's built like this, where they understand that it's bigger than the athlete. Like it's your family. Sports is this big. Let's maximize it to the fullest. But hey, let's make sure you're set up for after, because everyone's going to hang it up.
Right.
And most don't get to choose when they're done playing, because you're too old, you're too hurt, all of that. And so I'm a big believer in finding people that always understand that it's more than football.
Yeah. And Steve probably saw a lot of those stories as well, and they come in a lot of different flavors, but that's why he gave you that book. Because whether it's too many homes or too many cars or sex, drugs, rock and roll, crazy lifestyle, family and friends, you're a nice person and you don't want to say no to family and friends, and the money can be gone. And there's a lot of paths to losing the money and not capitalizing on it. There's a lot of paths. So Steve probably saw it. That's why he handed you that book.
Yeah. Oh, there are certain players within each locker room that are very motivated to help the next generation of athletes. And so those guys are the ones that are, putting together meetings for players, right? Like helping players understand, okay, what's a 401k? How does the NFL match it? Why should I do this? And, but my biggest thing is athletes need to be curious. Like they have to be curious with everything off the field because of the opportunities that are there. If they're not curious, then you risk not knowing where everything's at. And people take advantage of the athletes that don't ask the questions. So I think it's important that the athletes, I call it a new age athlete, but it's that a new age athlete is one who understands, hey, I am a brand, and I start building it now in like middle school and in high school. Right. And I am my own company. I need to make sure that I am set up and the story being told about me is positioned correctly. Even from, all the decisions I make matter. And I need to learn about what does ownership mean? What does equity mean? I've seen, the basketball NBA guys, they really understand this at a high level. The football guys, I feel like we're catching up, understanding how do we get ownership in companies? How do we get ownership in leagues, teams? And it happens at every level all the way down now. And so it's just something that, I feel like the new age athlete, they're a completely different animal because they're facing different things with a new environment. And so everyone has to be on the ball.
Do you think between now and whenever the end of time is, that will actually be a season of football in which there won't be someone with the last name Kaufusi playing it?
I don't know. I'm thinking right now, I'm okay. We have Carson up at Utah.
Right.
We got, that's Doug's boy. And then you got down here, you have Ace, Micah, Oli
Right.
down here at BYU. And you know what's funny? I think my son and Isaiah's son, they're both they turned 7 this month. So I think they're the first ones that'll be at it after that. So I don't know. I think it might catch up actually. Just 'cause that 4 years. And I don't know if my son plays football, right? I'm just like, dude, play every sport, be super active. But I just want him to love the game, just because I'm really big on youth sports and helping parents navigate that space right now. Just because I've seen both sides of it. Parents will be a huge liability to their kids in the athlete space, or they can be a huge asset. And so I'm really big on helping parents navigate that piece and helping their kids love the sport early, instead of I see it all the time, which is crazy. I mean, like 20 years later, kids are getting burnt out still earlier because their parents are just making it not fun for them, and the kids just give up stuff early, which is really sad.
Before we let you go, will you give us the date, time, and website so people can go to the game?
Yeah, Charity of Champions, June 27th, 9 a.m. It'll be at Corner Canyon High School. And to get tickets, the website is charityofchampionsutah.com.
charityofchampionsutah.com. Bring your phone for the selfies and the action photos. Everybody's a photographer these days. Hey, Bronson, thanks so much for the time. We appreciate it.
Hey, thank you guys. Really appreciate all that you do. Thank you.
There is Bronson Kaufusi. We're going to take a break. When we come back, Chris Hill on college basketball and the future up on the hill. Stay with us.
Make game day yours. Tickets, food and drinks, stats, and streaming. Everything you need is in the Utah Mammoth app. Download today and make game night easy. Download on both Android and iPhone. Tusk Top.
Mom, can you tell me a story?
Sure. Once upon a time, a mom needed a new car.
Was she brave?
She was tired, mostly. But she went to Carvana.com and found a great car at a great price. No secret treasure map required.
Did she have to fight a dragon?
Nope. She bought it 100% online. From her bed, actually.
Was it scary?
Honey, it was as unscary as car buying could be.
Did the car have a sunroof?
It did, actually.
Okay, good story.
Car buying you'll want to tell stories about. Buy your car today on
Carvana.
Delivery fees may apply.
DJ PK, it's 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. We're live on YouTube and KSLSports.com and who knows where else. A million places. Chris Hill is in studio, the former Utah athletic director. You've got a book out. Give people the website again.
It's chrishillstories.com.
All right. There's a lot of Majerus stories in there. It's about 31 years. You had the seat in the front row, just experiences, things that happened.
Right.
There's crazy stories with Majerus. We could be here till noon and not even scratch the surface.
Right.
He also won big.
Oh, bigger than we
Great
think.
coach, man.
Yeah.
He had, I read, when the NCAA was going on now, talking about how many games Utah State and BYU, how many Sweet 16s. Rick won 17 games. Now, go around and take the whole state, add them up, take New Mexico, and add them up and see if there were 17.
Right.
My God, we just took it for granted.
So it was such a struggle after he left, and there were people who had really different theories coming in, right? Ray Giacoletti wanted to bring in foreign players. Boylan wanted to bring in Midwest players. No one wanted to use Majerus' recipe, which always stunned me because Ronnie Mack had a recipe. It was kind of Lavelle's, and then he put his own spin on it. And Gary Anderson took it to Utah State, and it worked. And Jay Hill took it to Weber State, and it worked. And there's more examples.
Yeah.
There's finally a coach at the U who's got the Majerus DNA, but times have changed, and money is such a big part of it now.
Wow.
I mean, it's at least 90, if not 95% of it. And with some kids, it's 100.
Yeah.
Probably not with the whole program. So what kind of success do you expect Alex to have? Is he going to have the money to be the best coach with the most success that he can have? What do you think?
Well, yeah, I think what's so different is the money. I think Alex can identify talent, and he knows how to coach them up. There's no question. I mean, Rick didn't bring him to St. Louis because he didn't know what he's doing, and we used to call him St. Alex because Rick loved him so much. But he can get players, I think, if he has enough money, and he has enough money to keep them. But as we were talking, kids really kind of don't care what school they go to. They don't have loyalty. I love, East Jabibby State again, my favorite school. But if they do well, boom, they're bought. Damon Lillard would have never been at Weber State more than a week, because somebody would have bought him. So do they have enough money? It may not be that simple, and he's got to get him to win, but I'm convinced he can coach him up if he has enough to essentially buy players. But I think he can coach him up, and he'll be great in the community, and he'll do better getting Utah kids, even if it's maybe a discount. He'll get those kids.
Whereas before, in Majerus's era, there was no choice for Utah kids, which is often the LDS kid. Obviously, if they wanted to play on a winning team that could go far, well, there's only one choice.
Yeah.
And so he was able to clean up.
Right.
Even if kids didn't want to go, they had to go.
Yeah.
And now with them spending money down there, it's a big difference.
Well, I don't want to underplay the Utah recruiting, because every coach says we recruit Utah first. That's what we do. Let's see, Hano, Finland, Horn, California,
but the ones
Andre,
he got
California,
were extremely
Dolian. Let me keep going. Doliak, Oregon. You look at it, he had great players. But then he got a Britton Johnson. He got an Alex Jensen. So he kind of did them both. Yeah. He was able to combat both. I mean, the foreign thing is bigger now because there's just better players there, and people have seen the success at Gonzaga and et cetera, et cetera. Larry's here. I think he was on the cusp of doing that. But Alex knows Europe. He knows everywhere. And I text him one day, and he says, I'll give you a holler, but I'm in the middle of all this stuff, players here, players there.
Yep.
And it's tough. It's really tough now to recruit and keep them. That's the thing. I mean, I go back to Andre Miller. We wouldn't have kept him. Kentucky would have had him. They would have come in and said, hey, Andre, you want to come here? And good old Andre, God bless him, he would have been gone, I think.
His mother would have made him.
Yeah. I think so. His mother, well, he'd do whatever his mom said.
Right.
Yeah. And honestly, to your point, the amount of money they would have thrown at him would have been staggering.
Oh, yeah.
It would have been staggering. You would have been really disappointed, but you couldn't have been mad at him.
No, it's
knowing
like,
how the system works.
It's exactly like when we were one of the great things that happened that we still don't know now is Andre came in to see us after the Final Four. Mm-hmm. We had Russ Granick on a speakerphone. And
who was an NBA
he was
league
the
office
executive. Lead office guy.
Right.
I'm sorry. Yeah, I left out a paragraph. I sometimes do that. But so you got me, Donnie, Manny Hendricks, and Andre listening. And the guy says, Granick said, well, you'd be probably about, 11 to 24, And we get done, and Andre Leas, we're all going, great for Andre. Great for Andre. Then he decides to stay, and he still had his degree already. And I'm thinking, why? We still to this day don't know. We have our theories, why he'd say. But, he was real loyal to us, but that would have changed it real early after his freshman year and beyond that, because he didn't have the loyalty there, because he wasn't, But loyalty's overrated now. It just doesn't happen.
As we see on a regular basis.
Yes, we know that. I mean, we're all loyal to our job, I think.
To a degree.
Yeah, to a degree, but it changes,
right.
I mean.
We saw back when Lavelle retired, Val Hale hitched his wagon to Gary Croton, and it didn't work.
Yeah.
And then they both lose their jobs.
Yeah.
And it was a messy situation. Utah was a messy
I didn't know that. Yeah, go ahead.
The messy situation. I mean, the family was upset about Whittingham.
About
family.
Whittingham.
Okay, okay.
And
you left a paragraph out too. I love that.
Yeah. Well, the family. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Go ahead.
And so.
And they've made no secret of it.
Yeah,
you can hear that
obviously
from
I know
other people
them,
in
and
town.
they tell me stuff. Blah,
right.
blah, blah.
Well, they didn't sign. What's it called? A non-disclosure. They didn't.
Right.
NDA.
His family didn't sign an NDA.
No. I mean,
I think from what I've heard,
they did not during the Vegas Bowl. Yeah. Actually, the game is being played, and I'm getting it in the press room.
Oh, really?
On the phone. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Well,
because some of them are there.
Yeah, you knew the family.
Right.
Yeah.
And so be it. Right. So where I'm going with this is now the administration has hitched his wagon with Morgan, and hopefully it doesn't end up like Croton, which ended up being a disaster. This coach and waiting stuff, I just don't know that it works all that well, because they wait, and it can be a messy departure, or the guy who gets the job then isn't as good as the predecessor and all that. Just What do you make of all this, and how much it has to succeed for everybody to basically stay employed?
Well, every situation is different, and to stay employed, it's pretty simple. If that's what you're getting, they got to win. That's the bottom line. Morgan's got to win. He knows he's got to win. That's the way the world is now. You get down to the bottom line, and you got to win. And Morgan he's a defensive coordinator, a pretty good national team. The problem is if you're asking about coach in waiting, and the last guy I've drawn that line, I'm not going to say anything that seems critical of the university. I don't want to be that guy. I mean, I left, and I never go back to the building. Not because I'm anything other than I don't want to be in the way. But I don't know what you do if Kyle lost like crazy last year. Then you're going to elevate, him. But Morgan was the guy. I just don't know if it needed to be that public, but
right. And then, and obviously the coach has to win, but sometimes the administrator won't lose his job. But here it seems like these guys now, they're joined at the hip. It has to work.
Jim Valvano told me, once the AD hires you, that's the most power you ever had, but you better get the power and do it before you lose a ball game. So I think they're inextricable. When I let Ronnie go and hired Urban, those are two completely different situations. But I was married to Urban, because if Urban didn't win, that meant I made a mistake with Ronnie. Right.
Yeah, there you go.
But he won so much, he got me off the hook.
Right.
So if you're saying that people are connected, I would say yes, always. It may be more this time than it would have been another time, And so every AD needs to have their football coach win when they hire a new guy.
Right. But you had some credibility with the basketball because you'd hired one that went to the Final Four, and then the next two you hired, it didn't work.
Yeah. So I had some credibility with that, and that helped me, I guess. I don't know what to say. I always felt like, hey, this new guy gotta win. I didn't hire him thinking, well, if he loses, I'll still keep my job.
Right. Oh, understood.
That's not even part of my thinking anyway. I never. I went for an interview one time in Miami, and they said, "What are your goals?" And I was just a kid, and I said, "Have a heck of a Monday, a heck of a Tuesday, a heck of a Wednesday, and it all add up." That's all I care about. Because I think if you start looking about, hey, I'm going to get fired, if this happens, that happens, then you can't do your job.
Yeah.
So they're all connected. Some maybe more than others because of the nature, and that may be the case here or not. I'm not around, so.
It does seem for the industry, and so I suspect for Utah also, that whereas in your day, either football or basketball had to be going right, you couldn't afford to have them both down at the same time.
Absolutely.
Very few schools had them both up, so you could always kind of explain one away.
Yeah.
Be good at one and have a good plan and be making progress at the other.
Yeah.
And if you're at Alabama, it's probably better to be football, and if you're Duke, it better be basketball, right? So it just depends on the school. But now, football is so important. I think to PK's point, they are joined at the hip.
Yeah.
Probably because he's been there a long time.
Sure.
As AD, and they really need to have success. And we all feel like realignment's coming, and you've got to have success in football for that. Plus, he just paid a legend to go away. So now, back to what you said about Mack and Urban, if you make the longtime guy go away, the next guy better have success. But the same question, the landscape is constantly changing underneath everybody's feet. In the pros, you can explain it away if you're on the bubble, right? Hey, we got the 8th best record, but we got the 24th best payroll in a 30-team league, right?
Right.
So the coach is overachieving versus the budget. There are other issues. In colleges, those numbers aren't as public. I don't know if you get to explain it away the same way, although it's a similar problem in the pros. If a baseball team has the 24th biggest payroll, just get to the playoffs. We don't expect you to win the World Series. Sneak into a wild card. Get over 500.
I think that's the card that wins the game is the money is going to give coaches a little bit of a realistic reason why they don't have the same players that other teams have.
If they have less money, and everyone knows it.
And even Utah, they may have the most money, but nobody's going to believe them because guys down the street are always going to have more money. That's what our fans are going to be thinking,
right?
No matter what.
BYU and Texas Tech, if those are your losses, you can explain those away because the perception, whether maybe it's reality, maybe it's not, but the perception is they have more cash.
Yeah, you can't explain away losing to BYU.
Right.
even if they have a lot more money and whatever, because
it's the rivalry.
Thanks to Ronnie and all those people, at one point 31. We were 2-20, and then all of a sudden we became very competitive in some ways, maybe even better, and that'll help your ratings.
Well, you did,
I said that.
Well, no. You win 9 in a row, you dominated.
Yeah.
So, it speaks for itself.
Back to your question, and boy, if this is read as me sitting in the chair now, it's like they're always connected. My coaches hate this, but I summarize something. But they're always connected. That's the way it is, and you got to win. We always laugh about it, and I learned this the hard way, that it really doesn't matter if you keep your budget as long as you win in football. No AD gets fired for winning in football and being over budget. They may use that excuse, but if you lose in football and you're under budget, nobody cares. You lose your job. Yeah. So that's a scary thing for an AD now. It's almost, maybe that's what you're saying, is in every campus in the country, how your football coach does after you hired the person, that's all that matters. Everywhere in the country.
Do you see the Utah football program continuing to grow to where when and if there's expansion that they move on into the Big Ten?
They're a model school for it, just like they were with the Pac-12. And I think they'll be in the top part of the league all the time, and that'll help them be attractive if somebody's going to expand. I would not want to get into the definitely or not, but they'll drop my alma mater Rutgers and there'll be room. What the heck? No, but I think Utah does bring a market that they don't have, a time zone too. That's really
time zone, for sure.
Time zone's really important, and you have to know who you are. So you're playing Michigan against Utah. Michigan's going to be the one that brings the eyeballs, but at least the state of Utah is going to be packed watching it.
Of course.
So, I think Utah continues to be in the top 3 or 4 of the league. I see that realistically. And then they'll be an attractive place. Because if they want to, the Big Ten wants to destroy the Big 12, which, I can't imagine them wanting to do that, or the ACC, they'll just take the best teams. And I can see us being the best team with a great institution.
You told me a long time ago, we were in your office talking, and you're probably 15 to 20 years into your job at this point.
Yeah.
You hadn't gone to the Pac-12 yet.
Okay.
And the Mountain West was getting better. Mm-hmm. Utah and BYU and TCU, you could just see the momentum, right? It was just obvious.
Yes.
And you're like, we just got to keep getting good. They are going to devour their own. I remember you saying that, and you said it so definitively.
Yeah.
And sure enough, the Power 6 becomes the Power 5, becomes the Power 4. The Big East and the Pac-12 are gone. And now we have 2 leagues pulling away. They didn't kill the Big 12, but, man, taking Texas and Oklahoma out of it, the SEC, that was something. And it feels like it's coming for the ACC as soon as the contracts allow it. It's going to happen there. We got a Big 2. And there seems to be this assumption we're going to stop at a Big 2. And I personally don't understand it because I go back to what you said. It's this innate thing built into sports. It's incredibly predictable. You called it decades ago. Why won't one of these 2 big leagues try to damage the other one? Especially because, as we talked earlier, you got 2 networks that wouldn't mind getting the upper hand on the other one who are funding all of this. Why not? Why doesn't the Big Ten raid the SEC for Florida and Georgia, or Texas and LSU, Tennessee and, I don't know, somebody else, maybe Bama?
Your question is a good one, and why wouldn't they?
Because they will, and the way to get around the NCAA is we'll have our conference guidelines, we'll have our own conference tournament, we'll control all the money, we'll make our own conference rules. The NCAA can exist, and we can still have our water polo and volleyball and soccer playoffs and baseball and softball, whatever. But now it's all in-house in the Big Ten. And at that point, is the Big Ten 32 teams, and it just becomes the NFL of college football.
Yeah, I think that they eat their young is the other thing. I kind of said it.
Yeah.
And, when we were in the Mountain West, we always felt like, hey, if Utah can be at the top part there and we become a pain in the butt, the Mountain West, they'll just take some people and we could be the guys dressed up and ready to go. So that was the theory then, and it's probably the theory now. I'm wondering if they just start to streamline it and let people go. I just wish we'd take football and make it its own operation. and everybody else come home is what I used to say. Yeah. Let the baseball team stay in the West Coast, do that. But football's its own entity. It's its own entity on campus. It's its own entity. It's just not the same sport as anybody else. Make their own rules, have their own thing, have it be separate, And then they may eat their young then. I can see what you said. Why wouldn't Ohio State, A, want to take Tennessee, and B, maybe have somebody leave? And just keep making their place better and better and better. I don't think it's unreasonable, that's for sure. I think it's accurate.
The leave part, though?
Excuse me?
The leave part, you think that's reasonable?
Well, I think
basically you're getting kicked out.
You're talking about football leaving the athletic department?
You're talking about teams, right?
Yeah,
teams. That's what I'm talking about. But, because Ohio State's going to look at another school in the Big Ten and say, wait a minute, they're getting the same money as us?
That makes sense.
So what they're going to do is either eliminate people or easier say, hey, we want a bigger piece of the pie. And that makes a division in that league more and more and more. And in a certain way, it's not bad to have two divisions if you're in the top one, because then you got 3 or 4 teams you can beat, still have 10 wins. But if all of a sudden, who thought maybe Oklahoma's not going to be one of the major schools in the country, or Nebraska? Who would have thought that?
Yeah, Nebraska's fall is incredible.
Yeah, it's incredible. Incredible. I never would have thought Utah plays Nebraska and we're expected to win.
Which is what it was in Vegas last year.
It used to be 60-12 is when I started.
Right.
And we'd go home with money. We'd go home with money and lose.
You'd write a check and apologize to Frank Dolce. Frank, you're going to get beat up today.
And I know that's part of the plan. Was one of the first things we did is got rid of those money games.
Right,
Get rid of the money games. Play an easier team, get some wins, have people healthier because we weren't as deep as BYU, and at the end of the year have better chance because we have better players. We didn't have our third team players.
Right.
I'm sorry, guys, that we're on the third team. I apologize. I hope you're not listening.
They were great when they became first teamers. It was just as freshmen. They couldn't.
That could be it, though.
Yeah, it was partly.
Yeah,
they're not ready.
They develop players well.
There is Chris Hill. When we come back, what is trending? The headlines are next.
Ready or not, summer is coming, and Wayfair's Memorial Day clearance is on now. Right now through May 25th, get up to 70% off everything home at Wayfair. Plus, score amazing doorbuster deals all sale long and surprise flash deals on Memorial Day. We're talking thousands of products at every style and budget. Now is the time to save big on must-haves for your patio, backyard, and beyond. These savings won't last, so don't wait. Shop Wayfair's Memorial Day clearance now through May 25th.
Wayfair, every style, every home. Mom, can you tell me a story?
Sure. Once upon a time, a mom needed a new car.
Was she brave?
She was tired, mostly. But she went to Carvana.com and found a great car at a great price. No secret treasure map required.
Did she have to fight a dragon?
Nope. She bought it 100% online. From her bed, actually.
Was it scary?
Honey, it was as unscary as car buying could be.
Did the car have a sunroof?
It did, actually.
Okay, good story.
Car buying you'll want to tell stories about. Buy your car today on
Carvana.
Delivery fees may apply.
It's time to get your morning started with the news you need to know. News update. This is what's trending with DJ and PK. Hashtag NBA.
Finds Shaman, far corner, three-pointer for the tie. He got it off the back rim and in. Shaman with the soft touch, and we're tied at 99 with 41 seconds to go. Brunson gets the Harden matchup again. Out high, right-hand crossover, foul line. Harden on his hip floater, and the lead is good. And Jalen Brunson gives the Knicks a 4-point lead. Left wing pump fake, baseline drive, muscles past Mobley, and banks in a left-hand layup for a 6-point overtime lead.
The Knicks down 22 rally. They finished the game on a 44-11 run. PK. They picked on James Harden. He was 1 for 6 shooting the ball. Timeout, substitution, something. Cleveland, what are we doing?
Yeah, and Donovan Mitchell was scoreless in overtime. His final field goal was 8:19 left in the game, but let's just dump it all on a 36-year-old James Harden. Makes sense.
Mitchell was 1 for 4 to finish the game. Harden was 1 for 6 to finish the game. There was plenty of struggles.
Yeah, Allen missed 2, as they say in the West, free throws, as they say in the East, foul shots.
Either way, those needed to go in.
Yeah, didn't necessarily loom big in the very moment, but
They did when you saw overtime.
Yeah, and you look at it. I kept thinking, okay, Knicks got a nice run, but
Cleveland just has to hit a couple shots and this is over.
Yeah, and they won't reestablish what they had, but they'll reestablish enough. And I kept thinking, this isn't going to happen now. This is nice. And now they got something to build on, man. We just play like we did, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
And it's just one game, so I can see where the Knicks would have done that. But I would have bet the house and the world and everything that you own, which is a lot. A big TV, multiple big TVs. Who knows what you got over there stashed in the West Wing. I would have bet it all. And sure enough, I would have lost it all.
Brunson finished with 38 points. And while there were some positions, you just wondered, what is Cleveland doing defensively? There were also some things that went New York's way. They had one possession. They were lost, and Bridges is trying to get into the paint, and he can't get to the hoop, and he dribbles out the other side, and he dribbles back to the three-point line and just turns in and throws in the ridiculous shot that defines it's a miss it or make it or miss it league. And they had to have it, and they got it.
Yeah, I thought, okay, somebody else is on their side. A higher power. It is New York when Landry Shamet made the three that bounced around a couple of times.
Yep, that was another one.
And then Sammy, the Bull Merrill, had it halfway down, and it didn't go.
The former Aggie coulda, woulda, shoulda won it. It looked like it was going to happen, and then it spun out.
It's sports, man. I mean, he got what he wanted. Nice shot, and he was in rhythm, blah, blah, blah. And it was right on, and it just didn't fall. What are you going to do? It's a blow. Is it a crushing blow? It could end up being a crushing blow. We'll have to see how it plays out.
Game 2 in the West tonight, San Antonio and Oklahoma City. Will the streak continue? 2 conference final games, 2 thrillers, 2 games tied at 101 going to overtime. 2 fantastic finishes. We'll see if we get another one tonight.
Well, according to my guy Barry Trammell, Big Vic with his arms and legs, he can cover everything, all the ground from the airport to the Brickyard Canal. He was on NBA radio driving in this morning, and they were entertained by him.
Of course they were. We've been entertained by him. Why wouldn't they be entertained by him?
Yeah.
6:30 tonight on NBC. Dallas Mavericks part ways with head coach Jason Kidd. New team president Masai Ujiri said he expects a new direction for our team. We have high expectations for this franchise and responsibility to build a basketball organization capable of sustained championship contention.
And we're going to get out and run. We're going to play aggressive defense. It's going to be an exciting brand of ball.
Things you've never heard at a press conference before. You surprised, or hey, it's a new guy who wants his own people, and apparently Kidd applied for the job and wanted it, and whatever, turn the page and move on. Although he just got a contract extension, so I assume since he agreed to this, there was a heck of a buyout there for him.
Oh, this pro sports stuff, and he's changed it, rearranged the chairs, and away you go. It seems like it happens so much that it's not surprising.
DJ and PK.
Hashtag NFL.
I could care less about what's happened last year or the year before that or 10 years before that. I don't give a crap about any of it. Not one bit. All I care about is tomorrow's practice. Because if tomorrow's practice is the way it's supposed to be, that'll be one more step in the direction of being a good enough football team to kick the Cowboys' ass. Yeah!
John Harbaugh, fan of the rivalry flames. Giants fans eating it up. Yeah!
Well, if he could care less, go ahead and care less then.
He could care more?
Well, I couldn't care less,
Yeah.
what he said. I could care less.
NFL owners given the green light for the league to play as many as 10 international games in 2027, up from the 8 they had previously agreed upon. Goal is for the league to have 16 international games annually. Some insiders say they want 1 international game a week during the season. That way they can have a morning game every week, and 16 games means 32 teams. Everybody's going overseas every year.
What do outsiders say? You get me what insiders say. How about outsiders?
Outsiders are talking about the Knicks. The outsiders are stunned by the comeback.
Oh, because I thought you meant inside the U.S., outside the U.S.
Chiefs wide receiver Rashee Rice has been sentenced to serve 30 days in jail after testing positive for marijuana and a violation of probation terms for his role in a crash that left multiple people injured on a Dallas highway 2 years ago. He was ordered to go to jail immediately to serve his time. Rice underwent surgery on his right knee last week to remove loose debris that was causing inflammation. Expected to miss up to 2 months, he will not have access to the types of medical attention that would have expedited his recovery while he's in the Dallas County Jail. DJ and PK.
Hashtag college football.
Big Ten Conference Commissioner Tony Petitti remains steadfast. He wants a 24-team college football playoff. Says there's no interest in a 16-team format. But zero conversation about 16. Plan B is what we have now. We would stay with what we have now. If we have to wait for the 24-team format to be adopted, it's okay, we'll wait. Digging the heels in, PK. There's no middle ground to be found.
Well, that seems stupid. I'm not even going to discuss it. Well, then how do you know if it's good or bad?
They want what they want, and they want to call the shots.
Call them, then.
Congressional Black Caucus sent a letter to the commissioners of the SEC and ACC, as well as NCAA President Charlie Baker earlier this week, stating its members will oppose the SCORE Act to build a standardized athletes' contracting rights across the country, unless conference leaders oppose the GOP-led redistricting efforts in states that include major conference members. So now it's tied to something else that nobody has interest in talking about, so that doesn't seem like it's going to happen. DJ and PK.
Hashtag Major League Baseball.
3-1. Entering a high fly ball left center field. PCA's back at the track, and it is gone. Bryce Terang, a two-run blast. There's that insurance the Brewers were looking for. Swinging a fly ball deep left center field. Chasing back Taylor to the warning track. He will leap. Morabito leaps, and it's off his glove. They don't know where it is. This might be an inside the park home run. 3 runs have scored. Wood is circling the bases. The throw home is not in time. Wood with a head first slide has it inside the park. Grand slam home run.
The rare inside the park grand slam, PK. You don't see that every day.
No, I mean, for first off, the bases have to be loaded.
See?
Then it doesn't go over the fence. And then, like, if you had, like, Kyle Schwarber running, that would be hard.
That would be hard. Kyle Schwarber, not able to pick him up and put him down.
Demon.
It's a speed demon. Nice.
So you got to have a lot of things go your way. And it went James's Woods' way and Washington's way. They got down 5-0 to the Mets. I watched an inning of it, and pitcher's out there, gets a ground ball to seconds, run on first, second baseman bobbles it, throws it into left field, and then the bases are loaded, ground ball to short, they come home, he throws it wide to the home plate. Mets, my gosh, the pitcher's thinking, you guys suck.
Let's see, we got the Cubbies beaten by Milwaukee. Brewers now won 10 of 12. 5-2 the final there as the Brew Crew keeps it rolling.
Yeah, they do.
Herrera with the walk-off 3-run homer. Cardinals over the Pirates 9-6. And the Dodgers, who couldn't get a clutch hit down the stretch 2 days ago, get multiple. They were down 4-2 and scored, 3 of the last 5 times up and got the game winner in the 9th. They did leave Ohtani at second in the 8th. But Dodgers, clutch hit and chip away, come back and win 5-4, beat the Padres.
How many times I got to tell you, don't put Miller in a non-save situation?
Yeah, see, there it is. That's when the runs score.
I told you that weeks ago.
I know.
Nobody wants to listen to me.
I see. Minor League Baseball, Bees beat Tacoma 7-5. They play again tonight, 6:35. Listen on 1280 The Zone with Tony Parks. And college baseball, the Big 12 tournament in Surprise, Arizona. BYU beat Texas Tech 18-8. They advanced to the second round. Utah falls to Kansas State 9-5. They've got a thing with byes there, so there's 6 teams that start playing in the quarterfinals. So figure, I guess, these teams, whoever wins and advances, and BYU obviously one more here before the whole rest of the field is in there. But they're using up pitching, PK, which is usually in short supply.
Well, that's the point.
Baseball.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, these teams get double byes. The top 3 or 4 or something don't play till tomorrow. So, yeah, the other teams, it'd be very, very difficult for them. And most likely, since they're down, well, I mean, it's almost like a guarantee. Since they're down that far, they're going to need to win the tournament to get in. They're not going to get an at-large bid.
BYU would need to win 5 in a row. They got 1.
Yeah.
Baylor tonight would be number 2.
Got beat by Kansas State.
Yep, they're all done. DJ and PK.
Hashtag NHL.
Western Conference Finals set to begin tonight. Vegas at Colorado, 6 o'clock on ESPN. Vegas had their appeal denied. They've been stripped a second-round pick and fined $100,000 for head coach John Tortorella for not adhering to the league's media policy. So they lose that. We'll see if they can win Game 1 tonight on the ice in Denver. Vegas also reportedly denying the Edmonton Oilers and LA Kings efforts to interview former coach Bruce Cassidy. He was fired late in the regular season with 1 year left on his contract. That seems pretty vindictive. I guess they paid him so they can do that, but they fired him and now they won't let somebody else interview him.
He does have 1 year and $5 million left on his contract.
They've got the year in the right.
But this is unprecedented for most pro sports to not let a coach leave.
Vancouver Canucks fired first-year coach Adam Foote and his staff as the new general manager Ryan Johnson made the move just 5 days after being installed into his new position in charge of rebuilding the franchise. What did you just say a few minutes ago? Pro sports, rearrange the deck chairs? Yeah, there it is. Let's recycle that right there. That's what's trending, brought to you by Shamrock Plumbing. There's no job too big or too small. Get the personal touch with Shamrock Plumbing. Alec Busse covering Iowa State for the Cyclone Alert and 24/7 Sports will join us. Our spring football tour continues at 8 o'clock. Andy Bailey, NBA writer and analyst for Bleacher Report at 9. DJ and PK, stay with us. The question of the day, hot takes or toast, coming up next.
Welcome to This is Jake Scott and Ben Anderson.
It seems like there's a little more buzz out there about the Jazz possibly trading up because they love A.J. DiBonsa. Absolutely do not do it. Because I think both players are going to be good. Mm-hmm. It's one of those win-win type scenarios. But if there is a wrong decision to be made, Washington's going to make it.
Sure.
Whoever falls to the Jazz is going to be the better of the two. I would almost bet on it.
I don't think there's a lot of value in the Jazz feeling like they should go nuts to get up to that number 1 overall pick. If the picks are that close, why are you giving up a ton to get there? And then if they're not close and there's a major drop-off from number 1 to number 2, why would Washington trade it? Washington needs that guy. They think there's a superstar at 1 and only an okay player at 2, and the Jazz are trying to get out of that spot. Why would the Wizards do that? I don't think the logic actually adds up.
Don't be the sucker. Let Washington pick the guy that they want to pick. And honestly, if Jazz gets stuck, quote-unquote, with Darren Peterson, who cares? He's a great player.
Catch Jake and Ben afternoons from 2 to 6 on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
I drive my bus in a busy city. That's why road safety is so important to me. I know that I must slow down and be extra careful when I make a wide turn. Buses need more room than cars. Everyone can help keep our roads safe. Next time you're driving, remember to give buses plenty of time and space to finish turning before driving ahead. Let's all plan to share the road safely. Learn how at www.sharetheroadsafely.gov.
I'm here on the job site with Dale, who's a framing contractor.
Hey, good morning.
Dale traded up to Geico Commercial Auto Insurance for all his business vehicles. We're here where he needs us most.
Yep, they sure are.
We make it easy for him to save on all his insurance needs, all in one place, with coverage that fits his business and bottom line. Oh, I shouldn't have looked down.
It's all right.
We're so far up here.
Look at me. Take a deep breath.
No, I'm good. So good.
Get a commercial auto insurance quote today at geico.com and see how much you could save. It feels good to Geico.
Make game day yours. Tickets, food and drinks, stats, and streaming. Everything you need is in the Utah Mammoth app. Download today and make game night easy. Download on both Android and iPhone. Tusk Top.
I sold my car in Carvana last night.
Well, that's cool.
No, you don't understand. It went perfectly. Real offer, down to the penny. They're picking it up tomorrow. Nothing went wrong.
So, what's the problem?
That is the problem. Nothing in my life goes as smoothly. I'm waiting for the catch.
Maybe there's no catch.
That's exactly what a catch would want me to think.
Wow, you need to relax.
I need to knock on wood. Do we have wood? Is this table wood?
I think it's laminate.
Okay, yeah, that's good. That's close enough.
Car selling without a catch. Sell your car today on Carvana. Pickup fees may apply.
KSL Sports on the Beehive Meals are honoring people that impact youth sports in our communities. Nominate the youth sports volunteer you know for the Beehive Meals Hero of the Week at KSLSports.com/contest. And listen every Thursday afternoon to Jake and Ben for the winner. It's the Beehive Meals Hero of the Week.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Spring.
Yeah, go ahead.
Spring football tour coming up 8 o'clock. Yeah. Iowa State Cyclones. Question of the morning. Get a lot of response. Should BYU and Notre Dame be playing football every single year? An annual matchup.
Well, I like to think of it as the coffee drinkers and the non-coffee drinkers. You had the Catholics and the convicts. They've played that thing like every third day on ESPN with Miami and
Notre Dame.
Yeah. So, let's go the coffees and the non-coffees. I don't want to go Catholics and Mormons because the Mormons don't really want to be called the Mormons anymore. And then you can't go the Catholics versus the members of the church. It's just way too long.
It doesn't.
You know what I mean?
It doesn't roll off.
There's no rollage there.
No.
Yeah.
It doesn't fit in one of your old school headlines. Probably wouldn't fit on a new school headline on my phone either. So there you go.
Right. So
you would need a big TV to read that entire headline.
You can't go that one. That doesn't work.
Yeah. Aaron says, I would expect better social media fodder than this from you two longtime professionals. Notre Dame's place in college football is light years ahead of BYU. The Irish can essentially play anybody they want at any time.
Except USC.
Except, I was about to say, this is actually happening for a super specific reason, Aaron.
Well, it wasn't something that I concocted. They were discussing it. I saw that what's his name, Ari Wasserman? And whoever the other guy was, I don't remember.
Andy Staples.
And and those are names. Those are national names. It's not us two. And they were discussing it and how they thought it's a real possibility and it should be done. That's what prompted it. I didn't prompt it.
Notre Dame.
So shut the hell up.
Notre Dame wants intersectional games, and they literally can't get anybody they want at any time because they want Notre Dame at home in October and in the Coliseum in November.
SC, but
SC, and SC doesn't want to do that.
Right, because SC's too busy trying to win the national championship.
Yeah, okay. 24-17 in the last 41 games. That's right around the corner.
Well, yeah, but that's before.
Oh, yeah, now they're ready. They're prepared now.
New day. We got 7 classes in the top 5, and so now we're ready to go.
Do you think Notre Dame called UCLA to see if they want to go home in October and November? Just to stick it to SC? That would have been a level of pettiness I would have applauded. That would have been great.
I just don't think that
conferences want to play
that program.
Non-conference
would
games.
Want that.
Yeah, too much for UCLA to handle. They're too far down.
Yeah, we'll see. They got the new coach and all that, and we'll see how Chesney, not related to Kenny, we'll see what he does. He's got some momentum. I just saw a thing as I was looking yesterday. The Sun Devils got the number 1 recruit in Arizona. He is an offensive lineman, top 10, blah blah blah, and Utah was on the list. So they flashed that one Chris Cartman guy that we've had on. He put up a thing, top recruiting things, and UC Los Angeles is gaining momentum. So good for them. We'll see how that plays out. And it's still way early. You're talking about the class. These kids have to play their senior season, so who knows? There's a million things that can happen between now and by the time they get to the campus a year from now. And then,
let's see.
Then do they
there's
play?
A year. So there's a year. They got to play high school football in the fall. Then they'll go to spring. But will they flame out, get hurt, transfer?
Yeah, there's a million things that can
flip
happen.
On their commitment.
Right.
Yeah,
it's great, and it gives you a little buzz because you can get on social media, and then the coaches can, Kenny Dillingham activate the Valley, blah blah blah, and he did this thing. I got to give him credit. He's a young guy. They just turned 36, going into his 5th year, and he's 36, maybe his 4th year. So he did a thing over the summer where he gave guys who were going into their junior season, they called them the golden ticket. Remember that?
Mm-hmm.
And this is obviously one of the kids, and so they got him. But I've been for Chesney, what he's doing over there with his program, it's probably not in the best interest. But for BYU is a mature program, and yeah, if they have this opportunity and build something new and see if it sticks. And you play Notre Dame, you could play them on Mars and it would sell out. I mean, that's just a fact.
It'll help you re-up season tickets. Yeah. It'll help you justify raising prices.
I've seen Notre Dame now in 3 different entities.
What does that mean?
Venues.
Oh, okay.
Better word. South Bend, Provo, and Las Vegas for locals.
Oh, so
I mean,
okay.
I know they've done it.
You've seen BYU or Utah playing Notre Dame in 3 different places.
Yeah, just the local teams. Yeah, and it's a sellout every time, and it's an event every time. When you're walking to the stadium, when you park, you feel like, okay, this is something beyond the ordinary. It's something different. It's something special. So for BYU's sake, especially if they expand this playoff, they go to 24. I mean, you're going to have to mitigate the loss of the importance of the regular season. You're going to have some bigger matchups, and meaning that if you lose, the loser, it's not like it's a crushing blow. The bigger the playoff, the more hit the regular season is.
So you got to add juice.
You can't have both.
You got to add juice to the regular season.
Right.
So don't be out there playing a MAC team.
Yeah.
Go out there and play Notre Dame.
Yeah.
The days of BYU playing New Mexico State need to be over if 9-3 is going to get you in.
Exactly.
That was something they had to do in Independence when they needed games.
Yeah.
But turn the page.
And you can have big games now when we get to that point, and it does seem like it's a matter of when, not if.
The Irish are taking a hit. You'll hear the people who don't like the Irish say they are irrelevant. They haven't won a national title since 1988, which is true, but we are seeing a program now that pretty routinely is top 10. That's not unusual to see them top 5.
Notre Dame is Notre Dame.
Yeah, they're averaging like 11 wins a year for almost a decade now. Right. So they're in a good spot.
And only one team can win.
Yep.
So,
right. But if you're averaging 11 wins a year, you're in the mix.
You're having a lot of good times along the way. College football might be the one sport or the most prominent sport that is more about the experience than simply the result. Having been in South Bend several times game day, and I've been a lot of different places now through work, people get there way early. The tailgating is as good as it's going to be. That's part of the whole deal. And when you're tailgating, there's a really good chance you're with people that you really love. And this is what we do.
You don't tailgate with people that you casually...
Right.
Yeah.
Maybe they stop by. I've been on the road.
But at the core, yes, I get that.
And I stop by these that I barely know. I'm not barely know them, but I'm not inextricably connected or whatever the word is.
But walking into a game.
So many people are.
Walking into a game, we pass people and said hi to people we know. You bump into people you know. But the plan for the people who are doing it, you're there with close family members.
Right.
You're there with college buddies.
And you've been doing it for years.
Yep.
Years. And you have a spot. And you get up there at 6 a.m, and it's your turn this week to claim the spot.
It's your chunk of pavement or it's your chunk of grass.
Yes.
That literally, you see it at these, like they stripe them. And like, this is where, and there'll be little signs, you're here.
Yeah.
Because the universities don't want battles because they know that the experience is selling out their game. Don't count on the wins and loss. Count on the experience.
The porty potty business is off the charts on game days.
They're very good. They're very good for the porta potty business.
Yes, right? They're all over the place.
They have to be.
They absolutely have to be.
People are eating, drinking.
Yeah.
You either put a porta potty out or it's going to get real gross real fast.
Right. And it's super fun. I had some casual friends that I stopped by the Texas Tech game. And it was early, right? Was it a 10 or 11 start? I can't remember. But it was an early start. And they had like 100 breakfast burritos. And a couple of, what do you call those, mimosa things. And they offered them to me. So I'm working today. And
Mad kid.
This is what they do.
Yeah.
And they got the singular spot. And so you want to enhance the experience, make it a more of a marquee game. That Texas Tech, Big Fox was here.
Mm-hmm.
It was a big-time event, and then they all go in, and the game didn't turn out, but so be it.
Yeah, but the event that's why you want it to be an event.
Yeah.
If you're running a pro team, Ryan Smith's talked about trying to create that whole.
It's harder at the pro level.
It is harder, but it pays off.
Mm-hmm.
It pays off the most in college football.
Right.
And I think that is, as much as people are saying the regular season is going to be harmed by the expanded playoff, and you certainly see the possibility. You can't deny the possibility, but what saves it is the scarcity of the regular season. You have, depending on the school, somewhere between 5 and 8 home games. I mean, most of these Power 4 teams are going to have at least 6. But nonetheless, at most you're going to have 8 home games. If you're Ohio State and Michigan will buy home games, and if they're playing their big game, Michigan, are they going to Oklahoma or are they hosting Oklahoma? Is Ohio State going to Texas or hosting? That decides whether they have 7 or 8. You just don't get that many of them. And it's compounded here by some game times are better than others. And, the late night game and the bad weather, well, you got 7 home games maybe, but you get a night game and it rains in consecutive weeks like the Utes saw last year. Actually, I think it was 3 home games in a row. They had to were at night and the weather wasn't great. It's hard. Those are special times. It's tough to get rained out or to be out there in 30-mile-an-hour winds or whatever.
That's why Whittingham has got to be loving no late games.
Yes, that's off the table.
Yeah.
Now, back there, they do complain. The Ohio State fan base complains like crazy about getting big noon games. I guess they want longer to tailgate.
I get it.
I do, except
but that's first world problems.
It is a first world problem, but before TV, Ohio State had noon and 1 o'clock kickoffs all the time.
I know.
But now they complain about TV making them do what they always did by choice before, but whatever.
And then you're Ohio State, so there's like a 98% chance you're going to kick the crap out of whoever you play, and then tailgate afterward, post-tailgate. So it's a great experience, and it could help your ranking. I was listening to what those guys were saying yesterday because it was available on social media, and they were talking about, BYU could have used a marquee win. Thinking, well, they had one against Utah. Utah was a darn friggin' good football team last year.
Yep. But the whole league's getting dismissed, so get a marquee intersectional win against somebody.
Right. Now, beating Notre Dame, I get it, is bigger. But BYU had one. Beating an 11-2 Utah team was worth being noted. So I think they overlooked that.
In those 11 wins, they smoked at least 9 of those teams.
Right. They were a really good football team. And so I was a little disappointed. They and maybe to their defense, but it wasn't phrased this way because I literally listened to it. It wasn't phrased another marquee win because they did have one.
But another one would have been useful.
Certainly. I don't know that it would have made a difference because it just seems like there's some teams we're going to look at the negative and the negative is going to override the positive. For some other teams, the positive is going to override the negative.
BYU needed to hop over Notre Dame, Alabama, and Miami to get in. They were clearly behind those 3 teams. There was only one bid left.
Well,
so beating Notre Dame would have hopped you over Notre Dame, but you still would have had to climb over 2 other teams.
They needed it because some committee decided.
Yep.
Which is bogus in and of itself. At that point, it becomes subjective, and that's the system that we have. So if you have a chance to get Notre Dame, sign on completely. And it's not like it's Navy where they're going to go from Roger Staubach 45 years later before you win. I don't see that. I think you can be competitive with them. Your program has been elevated. It's such that I don't even think that we appreciate, because a lot of things that happen in the moment, you don't have the ability to have reflection. I don't think we appreciate the level of improvement and status BYU football program is right now.
Too caught up in the moment, wondering about the next game?
Yeah, this is a team that has won double digits here 2 years in a row at the Power 4 level. It's something that has never been done. And you can argue that this is the best that the program's ever been. Now, that's taking away nothing from those other teams in the great 29 years of Coach Lavelle Edwards, because they had their moments. They had plenty of moments, and they were on a shoestring budget. Well, BYU's not on a shoestring budget anymore.
They were never allowed to play this kind of schedule and these kind of opponents.
Yeah, and we have Bronson Kaufusi on, and he's talking about the depth that hadn't been there and what it is now. The ability for them to reload has been extremely impressive. And that's why it's silly to call it the Mormons and the Catholics, because BYU's got a lot of guys that aren't. You know?
Clearly.
Right. And the basketball team should have been, instead of bleep the Mormons, where's the Mormons?
Where's the Mormons?
They were in short supply last year on the basketball team, which is fine. I don't care. It doesn't matter to me. But the reality is they've expanded their recruiting base, and kids have bought into it, and they're willing to buy into it, and which is great for them. And if they get the kids who, the A.J. DeBonces of the world and Bear Bachmeyers who are going to represent you, great. Bring them on in. The fans certainly don't matter as long as they're ballers and don't embarrass the institution.
So what do you think the odds are this happens? And if it does happen, under what conditions will it happen? I mean, if they're playing, if they sign a 4-year contract.
I don't think BYU's ever going to be able to get a one-for-one.
But does Notre Dame want to go to cities BYU wants to go to? Because they do have that, they like to rotate around the country, and there aren't necessarily opponents in every corner of the country they want to play.
Well,
so
I think that if you keep it in the West for the BYU sake.
Yeah.
Because we know in the West there's a lot of BYU fans that live in these communities and will come out. You have the Cardinal Stadium in Glendale.
Yep.
BYU's played there.
BYU went and played Army once in San Antonio in the Alamo Dome. Bet the Cougars could draw some people there.
They could. I mean,
it's not as cool as going to Vegas and Arizona, which are NFL stadiums, domed. You don't have to worry about any extreme weather.
Right, and there's a stronghold of Latter-day Saint folk.
And if they want to go play in L.A. and USC won't play them, go to SoFi and play BYU there. Cougars could live with that.
Easily.
There's 3 NFL stadiums they could fill pretty quickly.
Yeah. Any place in the West is guaranteed to be an extremely hot ticket. No question about it. So if I'm Santiago, that piqued my interest, and I'm trying to see what can be done. And if it's not something that can be done annually, get it semi-annually or some form of regular.
And the Big 12's got to work with BYU on the scheduling to give them something later in the year, because the Big 12 wants this to be part of the TV package.
Yeah, I mean, they'll work with Notre Dame.
Yeah.
And do whatever you need to do. They're doing it this year. I mean, Game 2 is against Arizona, right?
Yep.
Who you got? Utah Tech in the first game, and then you got the Cats in the second game. That's great. That gives you a little bit of separation too, because a lot of schools, they're not into conference play yet, and they're playing Chico State still. And you're going to play Arizona, which has a quarterback, and Yogi Roth put out a thing that the Fafita is capable of winning the Heisman.
Right.
And he probably won't. I mean, it is Arizona. Who was the one kid that they had? He came in a rich rod and just lit it up. It was like player of the week 4 weeks in a row. And then he was he was a quarterback. Tate, was his last name Tate? You know what I'm talking about? Sort of an undersized guy, and it didn't really materialize. But that year before, he caught the league by storm. You remember that?
Vaguely. I'm trying to think of Tate's first name.
Was it Khalil? Type it in. I'll give you permission here to type it in.
You might be right.
Yeah.
You might have just done it.
You remember that?
I do now, yes. It's coming back. It's fuzzy.
Yeah.
Yep, Khalil Tate. Nice.
Yeah.
Called by you.
Right. And so he had a lot of buzz going into his last year, but it didn't really materialize. Fafita is more of a true passer. As I said, when we had the guy from the Arizona paper on a couple weeks ago, Fafita would not be at Arizona if he was 6'4". He would be in the NFL.
Yeah.
He's a player. He's really good. He just is like 5'10", unfortunately for him and his genetics. But what he can control, he's really good. And they're coming in to Provo week 2, right? That's a home game.
And that's to compensate for not having the non-conference game because of playing the Notre Dame non-conference game October 17th.
But that gives you 2 little bit of separations.
Right. It's given what the rest of the Big 12 schedule looks like and what the rest of the college football schedule like. There's only a handful of games, so either ESPN's going to take it and put it in that late night window, or Fox is going to take it and put it in their second game after whatever their Big 10 big noon kickoff is.
Yeah,
I mean, it'd be stunning if that. So you're not buried somewhere,
right?
There'll be eyeballs on you.
Yeah, that's a nice game to start conference season, and so you do that. Play Notre Dame and push it back if it has to be. I mean, if Notre Dame wants to play August 10th, you play them August 10th.
The Pac-12 always did it. They just always moved up the USC-Stanford game, and you always knew that thing was coming week 2 or 3.
That is why we have Arizona BYU week.
Yeah, right.
Right. Yeah, we know. Yeah, and it's great. It's awesome. I'm looking I have that as one of the games circled that I want to be at the stadium to watch that game.
I would assume that Brett Yormark would be in Santiago's ears and do it. Do it. How can I help you do it? Do it. It's just going to elevate the league's profile. So they gotta work with him. They got to figure out whatever it takes. Wouldn't be opposed to giving BYU a bye in front of Notre Dame. You know, if they got to travel, they've already played 5 games, whatever. Do it.
Yeah. I sort of think deep down that SC is going to realize, okay, this was dumb.
Yeah, after the coach who wants it is gone.
Or they just force it upon them. I mean, that was a national. It's very unusual that you have a national non-conference rivalry.
Yep. But they had it. And they had it going back to, I mean, the rivalry is basically 100 years old now. Give or take a little bit. But it's Newt Rockne, and I forget the name of the USC coach.
Howard Jones.
Howard Jones, thank you. Yeah.
I was there.
You were not there. You were not there in the 20s.
How could you forget Hojo?
Hojo! Play some Howard Jones coming back.
How could you forget Howard Jones?
It was easy.
Where's your SC knowledge? That sucked.
I had it. It just temporarily escaped me.
Come on.
Hojo.
I've been following USC religiously for 45 years. Not 47, 45, because the last 2 I haven't.
Cut the cord.
And yeah. It's like, okay, well, bleep you. Screw you for what you did.
For blowing up the Pac-12.
And for Larry Scott and all the people who were involved. And Chris Hill,
He was in here lamenting it earlier this week.
Yeah, and there was some nice off-the-air discussion.
Yep.
And, and that was my conference. And I try not to think about it because I'm excited about the Big 12. But when I do think about it, it still bugs the crap out of me.
Yep.
And I know it does Ute fans, too. And it should. I'm right there.
Things you love about sports that go away and don't appear to go away for any good reason. Teams moving and leagues breaking up.
Yeah.
I like new cities getting stuff, but it's just better when it's expansion.
And I saw a thing that had the ACC baseball tournament in a single elimination. Cal and Stanford playing in Charlotte.
What are we doing? What are we doing?
And they got about 15 places they could play in the Bay Area that have decent stadiums.
They do. That's actually a lot of nice places to play.
Go to San Jose. I've been to San Jose's baseball stadium. They can play right there. But no. They gotta get on a plane, go all the way across the country in a single elimination too, and be done. You're out.
Great. Somebody's flying to Charlotte for one game.
Yeah.
But
actually, I've been to both Cal and Stanford stadiums, and they're good too.
Yeah. But money's tight. But let's fly a baseball team across country
and
for one.
You're taking shots at the Big Ten, at the beachfront, and
going to Palos Verdes, which I misspelled.
You butchered it.
I hit the I instead of the O. They're right next to each other.
And it's Verdes. It's not Verde.
That part was probably just me getting
Went to Rancho Palo Verde.
But
He had
whatever.
Palos Verde.
Palos
Is there someplace down in close to the border that I don't know about? I looked it up.
Yeah.
Palos
It's further
Verde.
down the coast, PK.
I saw the first typo. I didn't.
I
get
thought
the
maybe
second
it was
one.
down Ensenada or
That
a little below the border.
That is
Palos
ridiculous.
Verde.
You got to go like one of the most places. They go. Can't even just be like in the middle of Palos Verdes. You got to go. You got to go on the bluff. Yeah, I've got some college roommates who grew up there who'd be upset about that.
Yeah, it's PALOS.
I know it's OS.
VERDES.
Yeah, that part I probably need an education on. Everybody just says PV. You don't have to spell it out.
Well, but you did, and I honestly thought
for people
is there
here.
a place? Maybe it's in up there, between
Like in the Big Sur somewhere, someplace you haven't heard about. Yeah, right. Yeah, that's what it is, PK. That's what it is.
I literally is there a place that I'm unaware of? There's a big coastline there. Although I've taken that drive multiple times, I thought maybe he knows something I don't.
I fat thumbed the first one, and I saw it later, and I was like, but I didn't get to the second one. But the first one I fat thumbed, and I was like, oh, dude.
I thought they created a new place, built a new hotel.
On the bluff. Dude from Penn State's like, yeah, that's a good place to meet. I don't want to be here.
I understand the point you were making.
It's only $1,500 a night here.
But the location.
Just set money on fire.
Get it right.
Just set it on fire.
So away you go there.
DJ PK, it's 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. We got to take a break. Stay with us. Top of the hour, spring football. We're headed to Iowa State. Stay with us.
3, 2, 1. This is Scotty G and Coach Tim LaCombe.
Joining us now, Kurt Heelan, NBC Sports Pro Basketball Talk.
Kurt, who's your favorite watch in the NBA, out of curiosity?
I'm always partial to dynamic, fast-playing teams and teams that move the ball. So honestly, I was watching a lot of Charlotte this year. I would say LaMelo Ball when he can play, and that's partially because he can be so good, and also because there's a train wreck waiting to happen. He was much better this year because his number of just "what are you thinking" passes went from 10 a game to 5.
I love watching Ball at times too, but I wouldn't want to build around a team around him either. You may see him just like he does out on the court. He may, "What are you doing?" and as he crashes into the side of a car on his way out of the team line. He's been like 17 accidents. I mean, he plays like he drives.
Catch Scotty G and Coach weekdays from 10 to 2. Presented by Mountain Land Supply on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
DJ and PK. Wow. Another very entertaining conference final, game one. 2 nights in a row, overtime, tied at 101. How about game one of both conference finals? Steve Young, NBA action. It's fantastic. That's an old tagline from 30 years ago.
Well, yeah, as I've said many, many times, the curse of the NBA is the regular season. The blessing is the postseason.
That was fantastic because I didn't really care.
Oh,
I can just watch the drama unfold and people are losing their minds for better or for worse. Consecutive nights.
Yeah. It was stunning. 22 points in the fourth quarter.
Jade, Brunson always dominates Mitchell. We got a playoff series in the game. Is that our definition of always?
Well, if that's all you got, that's what you got.
Mitchell meltdown as usual. Go Knicks! Exclamation points, all caps. John. He had a hand in it. I don't think he had the biggest hand in it. I think the people who are going to take the most heat are James Harden and then the coach. Atkins is going to take it more timeouts, mix it up.
A 36-year-old secondary player?
All the more reason the coach is going to take hit.
Right.
Take hit. Well, secondary player.
He's a secondary player.
He's a starter.
He's a big deal.
Yeah. Then why does he have the ball so much? Why is he going 1 for 6? Why does he take that many shots when he's not on, including an air ball? I mean, they weren't all great shots.
No. The offense bogged down. They
big
couldn't
time.
get a score.
And that was, it bogged down. And your
proclivity.
Your favorite thing about basketball, when the ball moves in offense, it's beautiful. There's a rhythm to it and all that. And they had that in the second and third quarters. They didn't have it early and didn't have it late. But in the second and third quarters, I mean, the ball was moving, the passing, and not just one guy. I mean, 3-4 guys touching the ball, open shots, feet set, splash, time and again. That's how they build this 22-point wave. And then late in the game, dribble, ISO, standing around, nobody moving, ball not moving. You made yourself a lot easier to defend. There's a reason literally everybody went cold. Well, everybody except Merrill. Merrill wasn't cold. He had a couple of big shots. He didn't get that many, but then he had the one spin out.
I think offensively, it goes to your best player.
So why doesn't Donovan have the ball? Why doesn't he take more shots? Because I think it was, I can look it up, but I think it was 3 in the fourth quarter and 1 in overtime.
He didn't score in the last 13 minutes of the game.
The one make came early. Yeah, the one make came early. And he came up court, and you can't see. It's why scouts always want to be in the arena. I couldn't see, are they calling a play, and so he follows it and hands the ball over and jogs out of the way, and then Harden goes one-on-one? Yeah. Or he's just deferring? What's going on there?
Mitchell remains the most hated ex-Jazz man of all time.
Yep. Over Gordon Hayward. Mm-hmm. But it's close. A solid 1-2.
Yeah, but the difference is that after they left, Gordon Hayward, unfortunately for him,
went off the radar.
He didn't have much of a career.
No.
And the two things I'm going to remember about Gordon Hayward is that he broke his ankle in a gruesome manner.
Yep.
And then Robin, his wife, called out Sam Presti of Oklahoma City. That's it.
That's all you remember? Yeah. You don't remember Charlotte?
No.
It's a blur.
No. There's nothing noteworthy there. And that's what they're going to remember. And Mitchell has flourished. You cannot deny that. After he left here, he's flourished in Cleveland. I don't know necessarily that he's taken his game to another level because he was really good here and he's really good there.
Yeah,
but he's flourished.
There's no doubt who's been able to grab the spotlight and hold it.
Yeah. He's a player.
Has. Yep.
Which is why I put it on him.
They are a topic of conversation for sure. Yes. Yeah. Next time, go get the ball from
and now they're going to have this thing around their necks, basically. Albatross target. You blew a 22-point lead.
Yep.
With less than 10 minutes to go.
It is one game. If they win the series, it's footnote. If they lose in 7, or if it breaks them and now they get swept, which seems odd. I wouldn't think that would happen.
No, I mean, they faced adversity in round 2.
They were down 0-2.
And then they get a big win in game 3 or game 5. It's supposed to tilt your way, and then they lose game 6.
But they rallied and won game 7. They've won 2 game 7s. I mean, they've literally played the maximum number of
and
games.
I don't think they're dead.
I wouldn't think so.
No.
They needed Brunson to go up. But they have to have answers for, okay, Brunson's going to attack Harden. What are you going to do? Switch it up. You just can't leave him on him.
True.
I mean, it's to your point, he's 36, and Brunson is, we all know, very gifted one-on-one. Nobody in the NBA denies that.
Oh, he's got all the moves.
Right. And you know where the Knicks are going at the end of the game. They're going to put the ball in Brunson's hand. So leave Harden on him. That's why Atkinson's going to take so much heat. They did, at the end of the game, they did start bringing a second defender, and that's when other guys started hitting shots. They got good looks. They spaced the floor, and guys hit them.
Yes, no question about it. And the idea of the timeouts, okay.
I think ultimately it came down to...
What timeout's the answer?
They needed to... I think the sub would have been my first preference. You can't... They're picking on Harden here. You just... If you can't defend people... I mean, that's the whole thing.
Change it up, no doubt about it.
That's the thing about... we see the prism through the playout, or through the, what does it mean to the Jazz as they try to rebuild? So the message, all these Jazz young players, especially the ones who have a rep for not being good at the defensive end of the floor, Keontae, Bryce Sensabaugh, guys, this is what happens in the playoffs. It doesn't happen like this in a regular season. They don't have as much time to prepare. They aren't as invested. But you think there was any preparation with the New York coaching staff? This is what we're going to go to when we need a bucket?
About afterward.
Yes.
I mean, Brunson's got the most moves in the city since Tony Manero.
Yeah, you want to tell people who Tony Manero is?
You don't know who Tony Manero is?
I said people, not me.
Well, I'm not going to tell them.
Okay.
I'm going to sing it.
Okay, sing it.
Well, you can tell by the way I use my walk. I'm a woman's man. No time to talk.
Okay. Thank you, Vinny Barbarino.
It's all right. You can't see. We can't look the other way.
Mercifully, when we come back.
Staying alive, staying alive.
We will be talking football, not singing
I'm staying alive.
50-year-old hits. Alec Busse covering Iowa State for the Cyclone Alert. 24/7 Sports. Till 49. DJ and PK, Iowa State. Spring football next. Stay with us.
Mom, can you tell me a story?
Sure. Once upon a time, a mom needed a new car.
Was she brave?
She was tired, mostly. But she went to Carvana.com and found a great car at a great price. No secret treasure map required.
Did she have to fight a dragon?
Nope, she bought it 100% online. From her bed, actually.
Was it scary?
Honey, it was as unscary as car buying could be.
Did the car have a sunroof?
It did, actually.
Okay, good story.
Car buying you'll want to tell stories about. Buy your car today on
Carvana.
Delivery fees may apply.
You're listening to this podcast, so I know you've got a curious mind. Here's a helpful fact you might not know yet. Drivers who switch and save with Progressive save over $900 on average. They make it super simple. Pop over to Progressive.com, answer some questions, and you'll get a quick quote with coverage options tailored to your choices. Plus, you'll see which discounts you may qualify for, like the online quote discount or savings for paying in full. In fact, 99% of Progressive Auto customers earn at least one discount. See if you could save when you switch to Progressive. You'll feel good about making a savvy choice. Visit Progressive.com and see if you can enjoy a little extra cash back. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. National average 12-month savings of $946 by new customers surveyed who saved with Progressive between June 2024 and May 2025. Potential savings will vary.
DJ and PK, we're joined by Alec Busse. He covers Iowa State for Cyclone Alert and 24/7 Sports. Alec, good morning.
Good morning, guys. Thanks for having me on. Good morning, Salt Lake.
So you go out to practice to watch this new coach. Most of the best impressive players follow the old coach to Penn State. Do you know anybody? Is this all brand new? Or guys just shaking hands and introducing themselves?
Pretty much. No, I don't know anyone on the team. I really don't know anything about them, if we're being honest. I probably know more than the average person if we're really trying to be truthful about everything. But no, it's been a huge roster turnover for Jimmy Rogers and Iowa State football. My kind of going line is someone's going to ask me on my morning radio show here in Des Moines a question about some position or some player on the team, and my response is going to be, I don't know. I apologize, but I don't know. I think I'm going to need until like the end of September or maybe to the middle of October to really get a good grasp on what this team is. But I think that kind of creates some fun, right? Like it's going to be a learning process for Iowa State fans. It's going to be a learning process for those of us who cover the Iowa State football program. And it's something I'm looking forward to being able to do throughout the summer. And then, of course, as we get to training camp and in the early parts of the season.
Well, Rogers had 16 starters in the portal leave him. I mean, or enter their name anyway. It was most in the nation. I guess you start with the quarterback. Obviously, Rocco was an institution there, and he goes to Penn State. But you got the kid, Rayner, from Arkansas State, right? And he's got some impressive stats, and he's got some good experience. So at least from that standpoint, it looks like it's a decent starting point.
Yeah, so I think the Rocco Beck departure was tough for Iowa State to handle. It was pretty clear, I think, that he probably was going to try and follow Matt Campbell to Penn State. And then Jalen Rayner's kind of an interesting story as he comes to Iowa State. Cyclone fans know of him more than they would most Group of 5 quarterbacks or Group of 6 quarterbacks now because they played him the last 2 years. Arkansas State came to Ames in 2024. Cyclones went down to Jonesboro and played the Red Wolves in 2025. Rayner had a better game in 2025, but he's been a 3 or 4 year starter down at Arkansas State, someone who has thrown for around 3,000 or more than 3,000 yards multiple times in his career, has kind of seen his interception numbers climb at various points, but so have his touchdown numbers. Good athlete, not someone who has the greatest size, but I think Iowa State will be able to rely on his athleticism, his ability to play make with his legs within their offense, and they're going to try and run the ball a lot this year. I think that's something that their offensive coordinator, Tyler Roll, takes a ton of pride in. If you look at some of his previous stops and the success that his called offenses have had. So Raiders an interesting fit. I don't think he is, going to come in with the heralded name value that Oklahoma State is getting with Drew Mestemaker coming from the Group of 5 level into the Big 12. But yeah. I don't think that Rayner is going to be the worst quarterback situation in the conference either.
They also have a transfer from Oklahoma State, right? Zane Flores, and he appears bigger, but is he not as good a runner? Is that the difference between the two?
Yeah, Zane Flores. He started, I think it was 7 games this past season for Oklahoma State. I mean, that was a disaster of a situation, to put it politely, I guess you could say. I think Flores is probably going to be their QB2. They haven't formally named Rayner the starting quarterback for this fall, but I would be really surprised if it's not Rayner. Flores, I think, was probably thrown into a position down in Stillwater to play and start before he was probably ready, with a program that was not set up to win, that ended up being in transition. He's got a big arm, throws a really pretty football, but still kind of coming along in his development. And I think his rushing ability is certainly one of those traits that he's still kind of flashing in a little bit, but still trying to find that consistency in as well.
I saw a number that 49 transfers are coming into the program. I don't know if that's accurate as we speak, but that's what I saw. And 15 of them were from Washington State. So you've got to brush up on your Cougar football. Iowa State becoming Washington State East to an extent, and those guys were with Rodgers. So from that perspective, too, there's so much newness, but those guys have a level of familiarity with Rodgers, so that ought to help a bit.
Yeah, and a lot of those guys are on the defensive side of the football, and I think that's where you would expect Iowa State, of its 3 phases, to kind of be at its strongest entering the season. Their defense is pretty good last year at Washington State. Rodgers is a former defensive coordinator, kind of cut his teeth in the FCS level at South Dakota State. His coordinator, Jesse Bobbitt, has been with him for a while on the defensive side. Bobbitt actually took over and was the coordinator, or the interim head coach for Washington State in their bowl game. But, yeah, they bring a lot of guys over on the defensive side from Washington State, particularly on the defensive line. Max Balloon, Bryson Lamb are 2 guys I expect to contribute at a pretty high level on the interior. Isaac Terrell is someone who was a really productive edge rusher at Washington State in a breakout season a year ago. And then there's a couple of defensive backs as well who come over from Pullman. I think you will see most of the production from the Washington State transfers be on the defensive side, contrary to the opposite side of the ball offensively, where they just brought a couple of receivers over. I just don't think that they have the depth of snaps or the depth of experience on the offensive side with the Washington State transfers as they do the defensive side of the ball.
So at running back, I can already feel the drama, and maybe you'll drop your first I don't know of the interview right here. I appreciate your honesty with that off the top. So Jaden Jackson in the spring showcase breaks off a 60-yard run immediately. Oh, maybe this is the running back, except he just left the program a couple of weeks after that spring showcase. So he's gone, and they brought in a guy from Oregon State, which I guess Washington State played him twice, so I guess you can pretty well scout him. Except he can't practice. He's on a scooter, and they don't see what the injury is. So what is happening at running back? What does that depth chart look like? Or you just got a bunch of names in a hat, and that has to be sorted out?
Yeah, so some recent developments there. So Jaden Jackson does depart the team. I wasn't expecting him to be a contributor for Iowa State this fall at running back. He didn't play at all during his redshirt freshman season in 2025. Jimmy Rogers kind of talked about after the spring showcase that they needed to see more from him. It just sounded like there were some frustrations with him meeting the demands of what the coaching staff asked of the players in various areas. So Jackson leaves the program. So that hurts some of their depth at that position, of course. And then yesterday they hosted, they landed, I should say, Tulane transfer Arnold Barnes, a tailback who comes in from the American Conference. Has never been ultra productive in his career. 2024 was his best season. He rushed for over 400 yards that season for the Green Wave and had all 6 of his career touchdowns. I think last season he ran for about 270 or 280 yards, I think it was. He'll give them some depth around Cam Pettaway and Aiden Flora. Pettaway is probably the guy who I would expect to be at the top of the list for Iowa State this fall. He was the MAC Freshman of the Year this past season, but he actually had more kick return yards. I think that was about 390 to 400. They needed rushing yards, which was closer to 360 or 370. Pettaway's a speedy kid, has good contact balance. Flores is a name that Iowa State fans, I think, are pretty excited about. He was retained from the old coaching staff. He had 2 really long punt returns for Iowa State last year. Both set up scoring opportunities. One came in week 1 of the season as Iowa State moved to 2-0 with a blowout win over South Dakota. And then another one was a clutch punt return in Iowa State's road win over TCU, which kind of gave them some momentum late in the season as they closed an extended losing streak there. But then Salahadin Allah, who you mentioned, was on the scooter in the spring showcase, spring scrimmage. He's going to miss the entire season. He has a torn right Achilles. And I think that's really what led to Iowa State deciding that they needed to go add some depth and bring in Arnold Barnes. But because before they added Barnes, they had just about 830 college rushing yards on their roster. And none of those were as a power conference back. Or I shouldn't say none of those. Very few of those were as a power conference back. So it's a position group that doesn't have a lot of experience. It doesn't have a lot of proven production. But I think it's an important position group for this Iowa State offense because, like I said, I think Tyler Roll, the offensive coordinator, wants to run the football quite a bit.
Well, if they want to run the football, you got to have a good offensive line. And they lost a couple of guys to transfers, Black to Nebraska. I think Bird to Penn State followed Campbell over there, obviously. And they brought in 10 new linemen. That's a lot. How do you think that's going to work?
Yeah, anytime you have to bring in that many offensive linemen to the portal, it's natural to have questions there. And I think the staff is still kind of trying to figure out what their best combination of 5 guys is across their offensive line right now. One thing that I was really, really impressed with what the staff did in their roster building in January was a scholarship balance across the offensive line. So they have 15 total offensive linemen that are classified as a senior, junior, or sophomore, but they're all redshirt players. So they have 15 total redshirt seniors, juniors, sophomores combined. So that's an experienced group in terms of just college years in a college program or snaps in general. I have some questions just about like power conference production, how some of that translates. They do have a transfer from Oklahoma, Jake Taylor, who I think will start at one of the tackle positions. They've got some guys coming in who I think would have started this upcoming season at their previous stop or were previous starters. So it's a group that I think they're still trying to have gel. I think it's a group that they also feel like right now they can play up to 8 or 9 guys. I think naturally you want to dwindle that down closer to 7 or 8 and rotate those guys if you have to, but still kind of feel like you've got clear identifiable positions for each of those players while still also kind of cross-training them. You know, offensive line is a complicated position to kind of manage and sift through as well.
That brings us to wide receiver. Is Cody Jackson the top dog there? I am impressed. This will be his 4th school in 6 years. I'm not clear looking at it why he's getting a 6th year. But from Oklahoma to Houston to Tarleton State to Iowa State, the well-traveled Cody Jackson, or is there somebody else they're really looking to there?
Yeah, he's one of the more interesting guys on the entire roster to me. So you mentioned his previous stops. He was never really productive when he was playing in the Big 12 previously, despite being a highly touted recruit coming out of high school. Oklahoma didn't really produce there. Houston did not produce in his 2 seasons with the Cougars. Dropped down to the FCS level, was really good down there, and he's going to come back up to the Big 12 and see if he can produce up here for maybe a 3rd time as a charm. He's not one that I'm banking on contributing at a high level. I think Evan Boyd, the Michigan State transfer, is one that I could see making an impact. I also think that Carter Paps, a transfer from Washington State, is one guy on the offensive side who comes over from Wazoo that I could see make an impact for Iowa State. Receivers, a unique position for this staff. During the spring scrimmage, they were rotating guys through 1st, 2nd, and 3rd string, trying to find the right fit for a lot of different guys, getting them in different positions, be it the X, Y, or the Z. And then one name that you guys may have had some familiarity with is Dominic Overby. He's from that Salt Lake area, tall kid, long kid, has really good speed. He had some nice flashes last year, especially as a deep ball threat on those go balls down the sideline. I'm intrigued to see what his next step could be for Iowa State because I think he has some of the physical tools and he had some nice flashes last year, but now that he's set to enter his 3rd year of college in 2026, I'm intrigued to see if he's able to kind of put more of that together with an opportunity to climb the depth chart under a new coaching staff.
Micah Harper we're also familiar with. I think he transferred in from Montana by way of BYU. You going to play?
Yeah, and I think his role probably was set to increase throughout the spring because Iowa State lost what, in my opinion, was their biggest addition via the transfer portal on defense, and Braden Alls. Alls was coming in from Toledo. I think he has about 9 career interceptions. Cyclones landed him in the portal after he took a visit to Indiana. Not sure how much the Hoosiers pushed for him, but clearly Indiana showed enough interest to bring him on campus for a visit. I think that injury, the ACL tear to Alls, is going to set up guys like Harper to have a bigger role for Iowa State this coming fall. And, Harper's had an interesting career arc. He played a lot in his time at BYU, more than 25 career appearances, I believe. Had an injury there that led him to missing a season, saw his role kind of dwindle, and then he transfers down to the FCS level, has a lot of success with a good Montana program at that level. Now he's back in the Big 12. So I'm really intrigued to see what type of impact he can make. Maybe doesn't always have the greatest physical size or traits, but as someone who has been productive at BYU and someone who I think Iowa State can probably rely on to give them a large number of snaps and potentially be a starter for them as well in the back end.
Iowa State last year was really defined by its defense. Didn't give up more than 21 points in any of the 8 victories. How much is it intact? I mean, the offense sounds like it's just all transfer portal. Is there anything left from that defense? Because that defense was pretty good. They weren't great, but they were pretty good.
Yeah, there's a couple guys on the defensive line. Zamir Hawk returns. I actually think he's a better fit in this new defensive scheme than the old one. He was just kind of a tweener between positions on that 3-man front that they ran under the previous coaching staff. They do retain a couple of linebackers. Carson Willick would be the one that I think is set to contribute the most. He struggled to stay healthy throughout his career, but if he can stay healthy, I know the staff feels confident in his just kind of football IQ, some of his leadership at the middle of the defense. And then in the secondary, it is a lot of new players. Like you mentioned, they do retain a couple guys. David Coffey at corner is one who I think that they're bullish on being able to start. Has very limited experience in terms of on-the-field stuff, but he'll be a third-year player this season as well.
Are Iowa State fans more upset that Kalani Sitake didn't take the Penn State job or that Campbell did?
I think they're more upset that Matt Campbell took the job. I don't know if they hold any ill will to Kalani Sitake for staying. I think that this is the first time that I've had the opportunity to cover a coaching transition professionally. I did it once when I was in college as a student journalist, and I'm much more into it now, and the environment of the way it all works is much more different now. In the last couple of weeks, there's been some frustration, I think, boil over with some commentary that Matt Campbell has made on like the Andy Staples and Ari Wasserman podcast on 3 about recruiting some of the transfers to Penn State and, getting emotional, hosting them and their families for visits. He took, I think, about 20 to 25 Iowa State players with him to Happy Valley. And I think that kind of feels like to Iowa State fans that he left and then he burned the house down on the way out as well. I certainly understand why those feelings would exist, but I also would just ask the question, what is he supposed to do? It's kind of just the way the world works. And Jimmy Rogers brought 15 players with him from Washington State. I wrote on my website earlier this week that I think it's a great example of just like, don't hate the player, hate the game. And sometimes the game right now and the way that college athletics is set up, it can be really frustrating for the fan, especially when you think about all the roster turnover, particularly when there is a coaching change. I think some fans understand that a little bit better than others. I think some fans understand that once Campbell left, he didn't really owe anything to Iowa State anymore, but there's still the hurt feelings of, man, he left and he took all these players with him, and we were expecting or hoping, speaking from the thought of a fan, they thought that I think 2026 could be a really good year for them, and he left right before that. So I think that's kind of part of what cuts a little bit deeper for Iowa State fans.
The parallels aren't perfect, but you wouldn't be surprised if we saw a few parallels with Kyle Whittingham going to Michigan.
Yeah, and I know that just following it from afar that they lost some players from Utah to Michigan, a couple guys on the defensive line, but maybe not nearly the volume. And I think Morgan Scalley was able to keep some of that roster intact just because he was a coach in waiting and he was on staff. So there was a familiarity there that those Ute players had with Scalley, and there was an ability to kind of keep some continuity while also losing. The offensive coordinator goes to Ann Arbor. They lost some other players at various positions as well, but there are some similarities for sure. I think Iowa State just kind of took it to the extreme.
Yeah. Well, Alec, we appreciate the time. Thanks for joining us, and I guess you will still be figuring out when Iowa State plays Utah on September 26th and travels to BYU on October 10th. Maybe by then there'll be a little clarity.
Hopefully before that BYU game, I've got a good grasp, and hopefully by that Utah game when we may talk again, I'm able to give you guys some more insight on where the Cyclones are officially at. But thank you guys so much for having me. Enjoy the rest of your day. Hopefully you got some good weather out there.
Alec Busse joining us. He covers Iowa State for Cyclone Alert and 24/7 Sports. DJ and PK, there's the spring football tour. Turmoil, PK. That was a program that was in a pretty good spot, at least versus the history of Iowa State football. And now got to put Humpty Dumpty back together again.
Yeah, and then they go ahead and get the Washington State guy, and he takes 15 transfers with him. It's just
that's the game, as Alec just said.
I know.
Yeah.
It kind of sucks.
Yep.
But you can't. People were upset about Kyle taking guys, but they had no problem when New Mexico guys came here.
Yeah, that's totally different. Right. And that is why Alec put it very well. Don't hate the player, hate the game. That's the way it works.
Right.
Take a New Mexico quarterback, take a New Mexico wide receiver, take a New Mexico offensive coordinator.
And then you hire Ottawa with running backs coach from Washington State.
And he brings the running back who turns into your star running back.
Right.
So
that's
the way it works these days.
You just have to look at the net, and hopefully you're on the positive side rather than the negative. But, yeah, when you have changes to your coaching staffs, this is what happens. And the Washington State coordinator went to Oklahoma and took the quarterback with him. So Washington State's over here, hey, we lost our conference, we lost our coaches, we lost our players.
And they've been.
I wonder why Ian Furness is grouchy all the time.
See? All right, well, Utes and Cougars are the 4th and 6th game for Iowa State, so you got to figure Utah and BYU should go into that game favored. That's
sure, but my thought would be that
they've had a little shakedown cruise by then.
They're not going to be a pushover. They seem to always play tough. And I know it's changed. The personnel has changed dramatically, and the coaching staff has changed dramatically. But my thought is they're not going to Oklahoma State it.
Well, that's a pretty – I would agree with that just because few teams do. That's a pretty dramatic example. I mean, Oklahoma State just really crashed and fell apart.
Even if they go 2-7, I think they can be competitive in the games. May not win them.
Right. But you won't be getting smoked.
I don't think so.
Like when Utah went to West Virginia, there's a first-year coach. There was a lot of transfer portal. And that was, it's on the road. It's a long trip. Maybe it could be tough. And that was 28-0 at the half.
Right. But they were there. Rich Rod was there because they got fired. These guys, there are some guys who stayed, and the program wasn't in a bad spot.
And the fact there's a few contributors on defense, and the defense only gave up 20 points a game last year. I mean, they were only a couple points worse than Utah and BYU, who both had good defenses. They're miles behind Texas Tech.
But I'm sure most folks in Iowa State land are going to be rooting against Penn State.
Yep. Oh, yeah. You can see that.
The way it goes.
All right, DJ and PK, it's 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
3, 2, 1. This is Scotty G and Coach Tim LeCoe.
Morgan Scally, head coach at the University of Utah.
The hiring of Kevin McGiven, very, very innovative. When I've watched his teams, man, he loves to fling that thing around. Are you looking to open the offense a little bit?
I want to be explosive no matter where that comes from. If we're an explosive offense, but we're not physical, to me, that's the detriment to the entire team. You have to be physical, period, end of story, because a lack of physicality gets exposed at the highest levels. The priority, the premium is on physicality, and then explosive football, obviously explosive plays that could be from running the ball, from catching the ball. I think we have one of the best wide receiver groups we've had since I've been here. We want to get our playmakers the ball, but you have to play complementary football, and that's what Kevin's offense does.
Catch Scotty G and Coach weekdays from 10 to 2, presented by Mountain Land Supply on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Hey, sweetie, your mother showed me this Carvana thing for selling the car. I'm going to give it a try. Wish me luck. Me again. I put in the license plate. It gave me an offer. Unbelievable. Okay, I accepted the offer. They're picking it up Tuesday from the driveway. I haven't even left my chair. It's done. The car's gone. I'm holding a check. Anyway, Carvana, give it a whirl. Love ya.
So good, you'll want to leave a voicemail about it. Sell your car today on Carvana. Pickup fees may apply.
DJ and PK, it's a Win Tickets Wednesday. We got a 4-pack of tickets to watch the Utah Royals take on the Denver Summit Saturday afternoon. America First Field. Caller 12 right now, 801-575-ZONE. 801-575-ZONE. You can head out to the game. We got a game tonight, PK. Game 2, Western Conference Finals. Can it follow up the thrilling game ones we've seen? Because after I was grousing yesterday about the number of blowouts in the NBA playoffs, so many games, you didn't need to watch the fourth quarter. You didn't even watch the second half of some of these. This is Oklahoma City, New York, and San Antonio just blitzing people on the way to the conference finals. And now here we are. 2 overtime games, 1 double, 1 single, and both tied at 101. Epic. Do you feel like New York took that game away, or did Cleveland give that game away?
Well, I think you can probably meet somewhere in the middle because, we can talk about Harden and getting exploited defensively, but that's basically a 15-year story. He's never been,
never been a lockdown guy, and now he's 36.
Right.
So to me, the story is, yes, they targeted him, but now what do you do about that? Now, they did try a little bit of double teaming. That didn't work. New York hit shots, but sub him out? I mean, does he?
Who's there that?
Anybody?
So just flip a coin then. Just try something for the hell of it.
If they're going to score on him on literally every possession, they could score on you and me on every possession. What do you got to lose?
How about you score?
How
about you go to your strength?
That's another problem right there. 44-11.
Yeah.
The 44 is staggering, but the 11 is staggering too. Right. About 12 and a half minutes, you're at a little less than a point a minute.
There's a lot to dissect. What happened to your offense?
Well, the 2 guys that you think are going to have the ball in the shots, Donovan Mitchell and James Harden, combined, I think they were 2 for 11 in the fourth quarter in overtime. So that's a problem. But as you pointed out, they had other guys shooting free throws, and they couldn't make them.
I don't see Harden as a primary offensive weapon anymore.
But he acted like it in the fourth quarter. He took the most shots.
Well, the other guys aren't shooting, and they're not moving. He can't pass it to himself. I mean, he's a whipping boy, so let's just dump on James Harden. That's so easy to do.
I know, but
meanwhile, you got multiple All-Stars on that team. Where were they?
Well, and I did talking about this whole series. Over the course of the series, I've always thought Cleveland had 2 pretty good bigs, but they do go away and disappear at times. Mobley and Allen, I don't think physically a lot of teams match up very well with those guys. They got good size. They can help you at both ends of the court, but they don't always. And I don't know why. I'm not close enough to it. I haven't heard people talk on it. I haven't watched enough of the games. But just looking at box scores, you think, how come you guys didn't take over? You're pretty good. Why aren't you giving your team a little more?
Right.
And when they do, that's why they're the 1 seed last year. That's why they won 2 playoff series this year.
Yeah. So there's all sorts of blame to go around. There's nothing you can say, this is why you lost. These are the reasons you lost.
In overtime, obviously it's a tie game, so any one possession at either end of the floor, you can say woulda, coulda, shoulda. So there are a million reasons. But it's hard to pass that they scored, that you let New York score the same way, the timeouts need to be taken earlier to stop the run, that a substitution need to happen later when nothing else is working. The only thing they really tried, and there was a timeout in there, and they did start doubling more, and other guys hit shots. The Knicks had other shooters on the floor. This is why the league preaches, hey, you got to be able to shoot the 3. You've got to surround guys like Brunson with shooters. That's literally the formula everybody hopes they get when they really need it.
And they got fortunate.
And Knicks got it when they really needed it.
Shamet hits one that bounces around.
Shamet hit one that hopped on the rim
Brunson
3
was
times.
A star, but if those guys don't make those shots, whoop-de-freaking-do.
Shamet hit one that jumped on the rim 3 times.
Right.
Ding, 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 and finally goes in. And the one Landry hit with the shot clock running out, and he's dribbling away from the hoop. He's got nothing going. It looked like total chaos. It actually looked like a good defensive possession for Cleveland. And then he just turns in around and throws in a ridiculous 3. I mean, it's the kind of shot defensive coaches are like, they're going to get a shot up. Make them take a shot like that. And that's why people say it's a make-or-miss league, because the freaking thing went in from Cleveland's perspective.
It did go in.
Yeah.
So don't exasperate it and start making a bunch of changes and all this other stuff. Things went their way. Good for them. They're up 1-0.
You have 7 games, but if they go at Harden and starts working again, you got to do something different.
Fine, and you got to do 20 other things different too. Simply sitting James Harden does not guarantee you a spot in the finals.
No, but leaving a guy in who gets beat on literally every position guarantees you going home before the finals.
Then how come they haven't been gone home? How come they're not home? They haven't gone home.
They haven't been gone home?
No, they have not gone home.
That was awesome.
It sucked. I got it.
No, it was a me thing. I enjoyed it.
But they haven't. They just played 2 series, and now we just discovered James Harden can't guard his shadow?
The Knicks are better than those players. Brunson is better than the star players on those teams.
Bull crap.
Yeah,
I
got
would
me
take
there.
Cade Cunningham any day.
How come they didn't get that matchup? Get that matchup. And
I wanted to say something stronger than bull crap.
I know. Yeah. And so maybe Brunson just, even if he gets that matchup again, maybe he won't hit every shot. Maybe that shot
that matchup again.
Maybe a shot that kisses off that upper corner of the box up there somehow doesn't drop in.
Bridges and Shamet had to do their thing.
Yeah.
And you had to suck offensively. Crack on Harden. He's worth cracking on. You traded for a 36-year-old guy who's basically out of shape.
And you thought he'd be the answer?
I don't think you thought he'd be the answer. You thought he'd help your team because it wasn't working as well with Garland.
Right.
So you did this, and Atkinson or whatever his name is, take him out, sit him on the bench, put in whomever.
Yeah.
What difference does it make? Put in Larry Nance's son.
The other thing we mentioned earlier, but we didn't mention here for people who are just listening now, is they could have been bailed out if Sam Merrill's shot goes in.
Yeah.
And it was. I mean, when it started going, you're like, oh, that's going to go in, and then it spun
he's
out.
a perfect form shooter, and he had perfect form. And you're
good.
thinking in those chances, in those situations, you'll take your chances. And if they have it again, they'll take their chances again. It didn't go in, but it looked beautiful. It's He's only shot probably 25,000 of those.
Yeah. And he hit a couple of them earlier in the game. Yeah. You had the feeling he's got it going.
And didn't go in.
He hit one right in front of their bench. It was just classic him. It was such a quick release. It was so smooth. It was so confident.
Rather than just go crazy on it, I don't want to blow it off, but I don't want to just dissect every possession and why you lost. This is the worst defeat in Cleveland Cavaliers history.
So can Cleveland... No, they still got the ELO game to go to.
I understood, but that was in a first round.
That was.
That's the point I'm making is don't over-dramatize it.
No, I think they have to take the same thing Oklahoma City has to take is we made a lot of mistakes, and we still nearly won the game. So let's go win the next one, and let's go win the series.
Bring it in.
And just
family on 3.
Why
isn't it ever family on 2? Why do we have to go to 3? Get the family quick. Why do we have to wait? Why is it family on 3? Why not family on 2? Why not family on 1?
How about team?
No.
Good friends.
No.
Buddies
good
on
friends?
Buddies on 3.
What family
Pals
did you come
on
from?
3.
Good friends?
People who don't talk even at Thanksgiving on 3. Get yourself a plate of cold cuts. Go over to that wall and talk to the relatives you talk to.
That's a dream scenario.
And stare across the room at the relatives.
Good friends is a synonym for family. I don't know what family you grew up in.
Was there always 2 sides, or did you actually get 3?
What?
When the bickering and the grudges. Was it 2 sides to the grudge match, or were there like 3? Could really.
How many people were in the room?
Oh, okay. There you go. Well.
If there were 10 people, there were 10 different discussions.
I think
10 different shouting matches.
I think maxed out probably low 20s for those occasions in my family.
I told you that.
But you had more brothers and sisters in the grandparents or the parents' generation. You probably
Italian
got
Alzheimer's.
50?
You forget everything but a grudge.
You ever get to 50? 50
in
the
yeah.
backyard? Okay. Yeah, we never had 50.
New Year's Eve? My Uncle Sonny's?
Yeah. I think low 20s is probably the record.
Yeah. They had a big house.
Yeah.
Like you. Nobody had big TVs then, but they had a big house. And every Christmas Eve, you went to my Uncle Sonny's, who was stranded 5 days at sea.
I never talked about it, right?
5 days at sea.
That's toughness.
In the big one.
We can talk about toughness all you want. But it's like, when you say that, like, no, I don't really want to talk about toughness anymore. Like, you can only tie that. You can't top that.
And he was...
That's crazy.
His real first name was Elmer because my grandfather was Elmer Sr.
Oh, he was Elmer Jr.
Yes, and he went by Sonny, and his son.
Did the family know at the time
Elmer
he was stranded?
III? No.
Yeah, communication didn't work the same way. Yeah.
He didn't text him, hey, I'm out in the middle of the South
No, but
Pacific.
I didn't know if you heard I didn't know if there was
I
a
don't
report
believe
the
so.
ship went down or something, and then they waited to hear. I don't know.
Yeah. And so his son was Elmer III, and his whole life he's gone by Buddy.
Text him from the South Pacific. I don't have any satellite service.
Don't worry, I got Starlink over here. It's 1940, whatever.
Where's my Starlink?
You could go on my Twitter and scroll. Usually I delete most of them.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't delete that. His obituary, he died at 99, and probably 4 years ago. And you can read the obituary in my Twitter. I linked it. And it's got my mother's name in there as a not a survivor because she was deceased at the time. He was, what are they, preceded by, however they raise those things in there. And you'll see my last name in there.
DJ PK, it's 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Welcome to This is Chase Scott and Ben Anderson.
I'd almost guarantee you Washington knows who they're going to pick. All that other stuff is just garbage. It always is. Sure. All that other stuff is, there's this person's number one this time. And this person. Washington today knows their guy.
The Jazz probably know who they would take it to right now.
Absolutely do.
I was talking to somebody and they said, yeah, the 27 and 28 draft stink. The 28 draft, that's 2 years away. They're like, yeah, it's a bad draft. Okay.
Right.
So they've known this draft is going to be good for a long time, which is A, why they traded for Jaren Jackson Jr., why they set this up for 4 years, because they knew that this was how long they had to rebuild and wanted to have a chance in the Wemby draft, the Cooper Flag draft, and this draft. It was a great section to rebuild. It's why the Jazz did it at exactly this time. It's probably why they were comfortable trading Donovan Mitchell and Rudy Gobert when they did, knowing that this is what was coming down the pipeline, but also knowing that you probably have to end in 2026 because the 2027 and 2028 drafts stink.
Catch Jake and Ben afternoons from 2 to 6 on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Join Scotty G and the coach, Tim Lacombe, today, 10 to noon at Bar W Beef, the pop-up event at the Cal Ranch store at 950 North Main Street in Spanish Fork. DJ and PK got the question of the day up on Facebook. A lot of you weighing in on this. BYU, Notre Dame, should they play annually? Now, you heard this talked about seriously by national guys. No real tie to either school. It's just a storyline. Notre Dame's looking for games. They can schedule September easily. It's what BYU faced when they were an independent. It's easy. But teams get into conference play, and even with the pull of Notre Dame and what it can mean for your TV contract, they have a problem filling dates. They've got 5 ACC games they can plug in there. But USC won't play them anymore, and they had to fix that pretty quickly. And they fixed it with BYU this year in October.
Yeah, it's funny how they always say, man, these schedules were made years in advance. Well, this one wasn't.
Yeah.
The COVID season wasn't. They got jobs done. You can find ways. But, yeah, I think that as the playoff expands, it waters down the regular season. And the expansion of the playoff, to an extent, has already watered it down. Yak and I were in Dallas to watch the Cougars. They lose to Iowa State. And then I'm thinking, okay, man, I got Indiana on Ohio State. I'm going to get some food. There's a Chili's by my hotel.
Austin,
I'm going to bring it back.
Tech, to clarify, though, you said Iowa State.
What'd I say?
You said Iowa State. You meant
Texas Tech. Big 12 championship.
Oh, we were talking Iowa State.
Yeah, anyways, yeah. Continue.
Right.
And in my mind, the Sun Devils beat Iowa State.
Now it's all clear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I thought, I'm going to go back and I'm going to enjoy, and I'm going to be by myself in my hotel room, and I can eat in bed, and no one will yell at me.
Pull back the curtain, PK. Pull back the curtain.
I can order up as much junk food as I want. This is going to be awesome, right?
More sugar, more carbs. Let's go.
Whatever, yeah. I go to Chili's. Yeah, give me this, and this. And don't forget the nachos. And then I go back. And, it was a fun game, and Indiana won. But what did it really mean?
That's what's been watered down as conference title games. Because I was about to say that I was as into the college football. Now, we're sitting here with BYU and Utah just rolling through everybody except Texas Tech. They dominate everybody else. But I thought you and I and Yak and the fan bases and our listeners, we were really dialed in. It's 12 game. It's as watered down as ever. No, it isn't. We were totally into it. frustrated because we could see that neither one of these teams is going to make it, despite the fact they were crushing almost everybody.
Which is a joke.
I know. So go to 16 or 24. Let's go.
Yeah, okay.
It doesn't.
But there's going to be a consequence. So the point is then you need to build up the regular season with as many high-profile so-called glamour big matchup games as possible.
And you need more
money. And around here,
Yep.
BYU Notre Dame, that's awesome.
And you need more money, and you're going to get more money for playing Notre Dame, whether it's you've scheduled them 4 times. I don't think you get 2 home and 2 away. But you might get 1 home, 1 away in a couple of neutral cities, including with Notre Dame. Notre Dame coming to the West. We talked earlier, hey, NFL domes in Vegas, Arizona, L.A., any of them. BYU could put however many tickets they can get, they can fill.
Maybe you can get
Those
Notre
will all
Dame
be
in
hot
Ireland.
tickets. Yeah. Go play Week 0 in Ireland for a 4th game and be the only game on TV and get a gazillion eyeballs on the game.
Yeah.
Make your TV, your relationship with TV networks a little better. Make your TV contracts
Notre
a little
Dame
better.
is big among the Irish.
And the Big 12 worked with BYU to make it happen this year. And they should keep working with them. Notre Dame's big among the Irish. That's good. Thank you, Captain Obvious.
They are.
Lyle goes the other way. He says, why would you push for a yearly game with a team when you're 2-7 against them? Not relevant, Your Honor.
For the opportunity to go 3-7.
Yes. And what happened in the 90s in a different era under different rules? Forget about it. It's different now. Even a Vegas game, you didn't have depth at quarterback, your QB went and hurt. The wing was dinged up.
Right.
The first time he threw a ball, you're like, whoa, that didn't look right.
Yeah.
I've watched him throw the football. That's wrong.
Now BYU's got 5 stars lined up now until eternity.
See?
Jeez.
Jerome's on board. Lyle isn't on board, but Jerome is, yes, let's do it.
And I think kids like it, We want to talk about what's in the best interest of the kids. Isn't that the point? It's not Renee and the kids. We're not talking about them.
Kids want to grow up and play big games.
Yeah.
Notre Dame sounds like a big game.
And then you got an opportunity to go run out on the field, touchdown Jesus, the 4 horsemen, Newt Rockne, Eric Parseghian, Lou Holtz. I mean, the list goes on and on. Statues all over the place just to be there. The fan base will flock to that for sure. It'll be all sorts of cool. Yeah.
So have BYU and the Big 12 help fill that hole in the schedule that USC's created until USC comes to their senses and then they get a new coach and they want it back.
If you're recruiting a kid for USC, which I think happens, hey, you know what they are? They're you-know-whats. They don't even want to play Notre Dame.
Scared is the G-rated version.
That's not the way I was thinking.
I know, but you're on the radio, so just go with scared. People can substitute their own word. They can figure it out.
We'll play them. Yeah, we're going to play Notre Dame.
Quoting any coaches now?
Yeah, absolutely. We're not afraid. It's too tough. And they can't go back there. You're SC. John McKay, John Robinson, Paul Hackett, they're all rolling over in their graves.
Paul Hackett. Howard Jones, John McKay,
Larry Smith,
Pete Carroll, all rolling over in their graves. Wait, Pete's alive.
Yeah. Are you breaking some news there real quick?
That you did not want to play
Paul
these
Hackett,
guys.
that was good. That was a difficult time. Hey, we got a good team. We're 8-4. You know whose name?
But I was there.
Yeah, I know. I know why you went there. Yeah. Were you there for Larry Smith?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of 7-5s and 8-4s. That was San Diego State's chance to beat USC.
They were glorious.
Let them off the hook.
I loved it.
Twice. Tied them once and lost by 2 another time. Beat them.
What are you, Dennis Green?
Yeah, absolutely. Dennis Green took heat for that. I don't understand it. I thought that was awesome.
Because it was a rant.
It was a rant, but it was like real emotions, how he really felt. He didn't take personal shots.
Yeah, but it was a rant and a loss.
Crazy.
Dan Hawkins, wasn't he right?
We let him off the hook.
But when you have rants.
Go play intramurals, brother. It was so condescending. Like you're explaining to me how sports work. I didn't like that one as much. This is just about the winning and the losing.
I absolutely loved it.
No, the winning and losing.
It's the Big 12. Come on, man. That was awesome.
Maybe it's because I think Denny Green was a much better coach. And maybe so that's why I like it.
It's Division I football.
It just sounds cartoonish.
It's the Big
I don't mind that you play it. I love you playing the cartoons, but I'm just saying as Ransko, that's too cartoonish. Dennis Green was more real.
If I'm Brett Yormark, every conference title game, I play that.
It's on the big screen before the game.
Yes.
Get the crowd on their feet. Get the music going.
Yes.
If you want to crown them, then crown their ass.
Yeah.
Yes. I love that.
Don't you crown their head, though?
Yeah, but
They're no good.
in his case, you're going to go further down the.
That was. Now the question is, where do you put you play to win the game in the middle of those two? Does it go somewhere in the middle? In my mind, it goes in the middle. I don't know how
that
close.
can go to hell.
Well, I knew because you got a personal tie with Arizona State, and you're like, dude.
Come on.
The only cool thing is that the whole thing fell apart in this era because it can be fixed quickly in this era. It could not be fixed
by the right guy.
Quickly. Right. And you got the right guy and it got fixed quickly. The last year of that regime, that was awful by any measure. And the first year was awful, and then boom, conference title. Excellent.
Can't ask for more.
Would you trade 2 bad years for a conference title going forward?
Oh, yeah.
See? There you go.
Yeah.
So it wasn't that bad. I mean, it's bad when you're in it and you don't know the payoff's coming, but when the payoff comes.
Well, it's just that you cheated and you stole money and blah, 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 and you're a phony.
Yeah.
I hate phonies.
Yeah.
At least be real. Dennis Green was being real.
Yes.
Hawkins was being real. Be real.
A little performative with Hawkins. That's why I downgraded.
But because he knew his job was on the line,
Yeah,
and it was a dangerous situation. Things were slipping away. Things happen. It's why Jim Boylan went after Gordon, because he knew it was slipping away.
Yeah. All right, DJ and PK, when we come back, this topic is as old as time, older than this show, and good grief, we're past 24 years now. But this has been a topic for, carry the one, but 30 years. And progress is being made, PK. It's an imperfect science, but progress is being made. We will get to that next. Stay with us.
I see you to show up. Don't come here once every 2 years and ask those questions. I don't want to hear that from you.
Make game day yours. Tickets, food and drinks, stats, and streaming. Everything you need is in the Utah Mammoth app. Download today and make game night easy. Download on both Android and iPhone. Tusk Top.
Hey, sweetie, your mother showed me this Carvana thing for selling the car. I'm going to give it a try. Wish me luck. Me again. I put in the license plate. It gave me an offer. Unbelievable. Okay, I accepted the offer. They're picking it up Tuesday from the driveway. I haven't even left my chair. It's done. The car's gone. I'm holding a check. Anyway, Carvana, give it a whirl. Love ya.
So good, you'll want to leave a voicemail about it. Sell your car today on
Carvana.
Pickup fees may apply.
DJ and PK, it's 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. PK, you and Dennis Lindsay pledged your undying devotion to one cause, changing the view of Utah, the Wasatch Front, and Salt Lake City throughout the NBA. And Dennis now works elsewhere, but you're making progress.
Yeah, absolutely. He joked about that he and I were going to change the perception of the Jazz because it had been negative, obviously. People had come out and scoffed at it, and I knew nothing. Well, it's not that I didn't know anything about Salt Lake City and Utah. I had been here a time or two, very briefly, if not just driving through on my way to Jackson Hole before I actually got the job with the Tribune and moved here. But then when I got here, you talk about the sleeping giant. I always thought University of Utah football was a sleeping giant because I saw BYU do what they did, and I can remember going back. I can remember literally asking Bruce Woodbury, the longtime sports information director, what's going on here? Why isn't this program better? It should be better. And then it did get better, and look at it now. I was right. And so many people from all walks of life came here and played football here and then stayed in the community. I see them out occasionally, see them at the gym or wherever. And they're fine here. They thrive here. They're not just fine, they thrive here. And why couldn't that be at the professional level? And I think little by little, or big by big, little by big, whatever. It has been chipped away. And this is sort of anecdotal.
It's anecdotal, and how the question is framed matters, but that's what I say. There is some truth buried amongst a lot of stuff here. The Athletic ran a player poll, and there were lots of topics. It was a varied thing. But one of the questions in there is, what's the team you least want to be traded to? Oh, but no. The runaway winner. Turns out LeBron James has the pulse of the NBA players. He made a comment about not wanting to go to Memphis. 35.8% of the vote, Memphis by a wide margin. And they're in the middle of a rebuild, and the city's got issues, and nobody wants to go there. Washington was second at 11.7. Sacramento third at 10.8. New Orleans at 6.7. And then Brooklyn and Utah at 5. Largely, players don't want to go play for bad teams. When I look at those 6, what do they have in common? Well, they've been losing. That's what players seem to want to avoid. And we want players who want to be about winning. So, okay, that's good. And the next group of teams, Charlotte and Portland. Now, what I found interesting, Brooklyn got 5% of the vote. New York got 3.3%. And the Lakers got 1.7%. So that's 10% of the vote for New York and L.A. teams. I'm a little surprised the Clippers are the one who wasn't on the list.
Yeah, but some people that, that involves way more complications.
It does.
If you have a game in the Garden or whatever they're calling the Brooklyn.
So hard to get there and move around. There's so many people.
Yeah.
And let's face it, some people just aren't big city people.
Right.
Not everybody grows up in the big city and wants to be in the big city, and there's the 2 biggest cities. So I get all of that. Now, I do think this is a little squishy because players don't usually have just one place they don't want to go. If you told a player they're going to have 3, they're going to have 5, they're going to have 8,
this
whatever.
Isn't a scientific poll.
Exactly.
We understand that.
But the fact that Utah is now tied for 5th when there's a time that I think we all are pretty sure they would have been 1st or 2nd.
Yeah, it was the butt of jokes.
Yeah.
It was a mock. It was okay. It was fashionable to mock this area. The Carlos Boozer interview in Miami. Well, you're glad, I forget what it was, and the setup to it. Well, good thing you're out of there. And he said, no, it's not that bad. Well, because he's been here. He's been in the community. And he knows what the community's about. And he knows both. This was a prior administration, but now he knows this administration.
Yeah.
And look at it. The owner is willing to spend money, building a whole basically bought them all. And
yeah, basically. And he did. Yeah, he bought the Southtown Mall, and he's redeveloping it.
Yes. And it's 2 feet off the freeway.
Hockey facility, basketball facility, and now they're partnering with Intermountain Health, and IHC's putting in a big old clinic in there.
Yeah.
Which malls need to be redesigned because so many people shop online now. So
right. Yes.
So he's
ever since Kmart went away, that's what I do.
That's it, man. Once you couldn't walk down there and get those cocktail dresses.
Right. I'd get one a year, whatever was in style. I'd get her one every year. And it worked, let me tell you. So you got all those things. You've got, and I think Ainge carries a name throughout the NBA. He's still involved. His son has the same name. To an extent, is a chip off the old block, as they say. I think he lives and breathes basketball and has a great sense about what to do basketball-wise. And so that the Ainge name is going to be attached for the Jazz probably for another 15, 20 years, and who knows what happens after that. So everything is pointing in a positive direction. And you got a guy like you got young guys. You got young African-Americans who clearly like it. Keontae George, you want me to go back and represent the team? I'm there. Dress up, looking good, looking sharp, do interviews, presenting it well. Mm-hmm. He's well-spoken, and he's a good player. He's made a dramatic level of improvement. So obviously that speaks to the young man being willing to put the time in. But I think it also speaks to the support staff allowing him and helping him to get better. And so I think that we're to the point in my mind, as much as it can be debunked, it has been debunked.
And it'll still come down to a player-by-player decision. We may still hear it again, but we may not.
But the player...
Nice as hell. I ain't going to
Yeah,
hold you.
I was going to bring that up, Yak. I was just waiting for him to finish. There are other players. You know, it could be a formal setting, right? When you choose a player to represent the organization at a high-profile TV event, that's one thing. It's another thing when a player, completely unprompted, is driving around town and puts something up on social media.
Nice as hell. I ain't going to hold you. Nice.
That's Colin Sexton.
Thank you, Colin Sexton.
And, he had a way of expressing himself, or has a way, and he's a little different, and that's fine.
But to your point has always been, let's not lump all the players in the league. We're talking 450 players who are coming from all over the place with all kinds of different experiences.
Right.
All over the country, all over the continent, all over the world.
Well, with foreign players, yeah.
Right. Yeah, well.
But the big knock was the young black player couldn't enjoy here.
Right.
No. I always thought that was a racist assumption that you're going to assign a belief to somebody that you've never met, and he's not going to like it here. Bull crap. Maybe some don't.
And that's why I say
you can go anywhere, and some don't.
It'll be and this poll shows that. I mean, this poll shows that right there. Just going to NBA players themselves, there's 13 different teams getting votes, almost half the league. And a bunch of them all are the small markets that to one degree or another take this kind of hit. The Indianas, the Milwaukees, the Utahs, and Portlands. It's cold, it's rainy, it's snowy, it's not glamorous, it's not. And they're all on the list. But Brooklyn, New York, L.A., New Orleans, Washington, D.C. are on the list too.
The young African-American who's in the position to play NBA ball has a level of education. We're speaking generally, but has a level of education that he and his folks, whoever they may be, his handlers, literally maybe his folks, has been involved with all sorts of different people, because usually, and most of them are one and done, but they've been identified as a professional prospect 15 maybe, 16, certainly by 17, and he's had varied experiences of playing around the country
for all the national teams,
interacting with all sorts of people. He has a level of experience that can't be bought in the classroom. Then he goes to college for a year, and he's experiencing all sorts of people. So he's quite comfortable dealing with all sorts of people.
The level of sophistication, and we can gnash our teeth all we want about lost childhoods and AAU professionalizes stuff early on, and 14-year-olds are getting paid or whatever. And I get it. There's a downside to all of that. But one of the other things that's happening is there is a level of sophistication to these players.
That's what I'm talking about.
And this generation, it is different now to go into a locker room and talk to a 21-year-old than it was to go into a locker room and talk to a 21-year-old 21 years ago. It is different. And they're looking at things differently. They're thinking differently. Honestly, my kids and their friends talk about stuff differently than I did at that age with my peers. Partly it's just a generational thing. Times always change. Attitudes always change. And so, and maybe it's because they have phones and they're getting news because they got internet on their phone, and they're seeing stuff in the world that we just didn't see. We didn't sit down and watch the evening news, and there's nowhere else to get it at our age.
The 20-year-old of today is quite comfortable on his feet.
Yeah.
If you're that level of talent.
Well, and to go back to the Boozer story, because it stands out, and it's something we talked about on the show, and we got the audio and we played it. Yuck, might even be able to dig it up somewhere. It might be in the archive somewhere still. Is that you think about who Carlos Boozer was when he did that interview. To your point, he grew up in Alaska, right? So that's different. That's extreme. That's unusual. He goes to Duke. Okay, living in the South is different. Then he goes to the upper Midwest. He's in Cleveland. He comes to Utah. He leaves and goes to Chicago, a megacity, for a guy who grew up in a state that doesn't have many people, right? Now he's on the phone either late in his career or after his career. Maybe he was in Chicago at the time. And he's in Miami, which is way different than North Carolina or Utah or Cleveland or Alaska. I mean, that guy can legitimately compare in a way most people can't. I've lived all over the place.
Yeah.
I can compare these places. I've lived it.
Right.
Now, his experience isn't necessarily going to be everybody's experience. I mean, he's a celebrity and he's a multimillionaire, and somebody else is not a celebrity and not a multimillionaire.
Yeah, but that's why you've got kids from Florida choosing to come play ball at Utah.
Boy, NIL is just accelerating this phenomenon as far as, we were talking spring football. Iowa State's got a kid, and he's on his fourth school in 6 years. He's been all over the place.
And BYU just got a commitment from a defensive back from New Jersey.
What?
Yeah.
that wouldn't happen 30 years ago.
Right. And so that young man, and he's still in high school, so he's a young man.
So we'd say all this stuff.
He's going to be able to converse with people.
But we say all this in the next player because everybody's going to have a different situation may want to go. The number's not 0. It's still 5%.
Well, it's never going to be 0.
Right.
We understand that.
But the Lakers aren't at 0 either. That was surprising. Do they not want to? They don't want to deal with L.A., or they're not going to get them shots because Doncic takes too many? I always wonder how much of this is because they say they don't want to go to this team. Well, the team is currently in a certain. I mean, Memphis.
Well, these are guys right now.
Right. Memphis is rebuilding now. You know, Memphis was a winning organization 4 or 5 years ago.
What I'm confident in saying, if a player does not want to be here, it's not because this is just like the one guy from San Diego walking in Provo is like walking in Alabama in the 50s.
That's not what...
The police are not going to take out a hose. There's going to be exceptions and there's going to be issues. It's not issue-free. And we're never going to be issue-free in the rest of the history of the world. We're speaking on a broad, general level.
So if a player doesn't want to come for whatever reason, state of the organization, shots, the city, whatever it is, the point now is looking at these numbers. Okay, that player doesn't want to, but the next player will, or the player after that will. But it does suck that back-to-back it was Hayward and Mitchell leaving. Not that long on the heels of Boozer and D. Will leaving. Now, the thing is, when Carlos came back and when he first started doing appearances here, and I always find it weird, the athletes who are really successful and really aggressive, like how low-key and mellow they can be off the court. For whatever reason, I got my assumptions, and that just stuns me. And I've seen that multiple sports, multiple ages. I don't know. I just expect a little more of the Jersey attitude you always talk about all the way through life. So, look, I mean, he could not wait to explain, like, hey, I left for basketball reasons. Like, we were going to win. The Lakers were bigger and better. And they were maxed out. And he talked to Greg Miller, and like they're over the luxury tax. They're maxed out. They're not going to spend anymore. Like big guys are expensive. We're not going to get one. If I'm going to win, I got to go somewhere else. He just could not wait to explain. This is a basketball decision. And the whole time I was thinking, I was like, well, yeah, I know you don't know this, but we got the clip from Miami and we played it. I already have a pretty good idea. But he was worried that was the misconception. Like he was just coming in filled with fear and loathing and
animosity towards
animosity and disgust. And no, this is basketball. And I'm like, yeah, if you wanted to go off, you would have gone off on a radio in Miami when you figured there are no repercussions. You could have agreed with a guy, leading question, Your Honor.
Right.
And he didn't.
No.
So, but I do think that it's changed, and partly it's just because things always change, and partly it's because people have tried to change it. Both the Millers and Ryan Smith tried to change things and recognized, hey, there's hurdles here. There's stuff here, it's hard. I mean, we had Joe Ingles on, and you asked him, what do you think? Why? And he said, well, I hear my teammates' stories, and it gives just a certain level of empathy because I know these guys, and I see their faces when they're talking. I'm like, well, this is real. It's not something Joe faced.
Right.
He's a white guy.
That's going to be out there.
Yeah.
It's always going to be out there. I've got friends.
So partly it's happened just because everything evolves over time. Everything's different than it was 20, 30, 40 years ago, wherever you go. There's partly that, but partly it's been intentional change that both the Millers and the Smiths are like, hey, we got to change some stuff here. And some things are small and some things are big. So it's a combination of, and I do think it goes back to Joe's conversation, and I think when I've heard Ryan Smith talk, it goes back to something you've always said. Like, there's problems, but if you really want to change it, it's hard at a societal level to get on social media or get behind a podium and scream at somebody and lecture somebody.
Right.
Form a bond,
right.
Work with somebody, and find out what their hopes and dreams are and what their goals are and what they're willing to do and what their hurdles are.
And then it melts away.
Yeah. And you got a guy that you talk to. I don't know how often you text with him because you text with a lot of people all the time. You're watching games at least 6 nights a week, and you're texting with people while you do. But you talk to him once in a while. But he comes on the show and you can hear the emotion. Like you guys don't talk all the time, but you got a bond that goes back to sitting at a desk in a building that doesn't exist anymore 35 years ago.
Right.
But that's because you got to know each other. Forget the cliches and forget the posturing and forget the politics. Just, but that goes back to what somebody said a long time ago, famously, the content of the character. You know the content of his character.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, I know who you're talking about. Yeah, absolutely. And then if you don't like that person, it may be because something just rubs you wrong. But I believe you end up liking most people that you get to know. Not everyone. I'm not sitting here saying I love everyone. I don't. There's a few people. But most people that I get to know, they're pretty good people. And I do think the bottom line here is that if a player doesn't want to be here, it's not going to be for basketball reasons, and community reasons just are through the roof, and he's going to be miserable. And they can't keep everyone anyway. Yeah. So you can't get everyone you want. But I think the Millers did a fine job, and I think the new administration and ownership has taken the ball, so to speak, and running with it and continuing to chip away.
5%. It was surprising to see that number. But it also looks like this generation of players, man, a lot of this seems to ride on basketball. Not exclusively.
Which probably it should be because it's your job and that's what you're here for.
Yeah. All right, DJ and PK, it's 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
For Jazz fans, it's been a rough few years. Well, those days are behind us as the Utah Jazz finally struck gold in the NBA Draft Lottery. Picking second. As the Jazz prepare to draft a potential superstar with the number 2 overall pick, nobody will bring you better coverage of the NBA Draft than the KSL Sports Zone. For all the breaking news, high-profile interviews, and player analysis leading right up to draft night, keep it locked on your exclusive home of Utah Jazz basketball. 97.5. The KSL Sports Zone.
I sold my car in Carvana last night.
Well, that's cool.
No, you don't understand. It went perfectly. Real offer, down to the penny. They're picking it up tomorrow. Nothing went wrong.
So, what's the problem?
That is the problem. Nothing in my life goes as smoothly. I'm waiting for the catch.
Maybe there's no catch.
That's exactly what a catch would want me to think.
Wow, you need to relax.
I need to knock on wood. Do we have wood? Is this table wood?
I think it's laminate.
Okay, yeah, that's good. That's close enough.
Car selling without a catch. Sell your car today on
Carvana.
Pickup fees may apply.
Shop the Sherwin-Williams Memorial Day sale and get 30% off paints and stains May 15th through the 28th. Whether you're refreshing your interior or exterior, we've got the colors to bring your vision to life. And with delivery, getting everything to your door is easier than ever. Shop online to have it delivered or visit your neighborhood Sherwin-Williams store. Click the banner to learn more. Retail sales only. Some exclusions apply. See store for details. Delivery available on qualifying orders.
DJ and PK, here we go. Slacker Radio headlines brought to you by Trajan Wealth. Call Trajan Wealth today, your local trusted financial fiduciary. Call them at 1-855-TRAJAN1 or visit the website at TrajanWealth.com. Stuff we've been talking about. NBA playoffs, another overtime game. It'll be fascinating to watch these next two games. Can Oklahoma City and Cleveland shake it off?
So you tell me I got to watch NBA playoff basketball that's exciting and thrilling? This job sucks.
You waited through a month of blowouts, and you are being rewarded with competitive, dramatic, entertaining hoops.
Yeah, I think we usually are.
It's been a long month.
This time of year, but this is where we're at.
First world problems.
But I always know it's coming. So I don't
some
sweat.
Point, there's too many playoff games and too many playoff series not to have something
I don't
dramatic.
sweat the early blowouts. And I actually think, okay, great. Now I can go do something else. Now, if it's the Jazz, it's another story. I'm start to finish. But we're talking about these out-of-town teams.
When the Knicks are hammering Philly.
Yeah.
Next.
But I know that we're going to get down to the best of the best, and away we go. And we'll have it for another, 4 weeks? And then we got the draft. And, oh, my gosh. then it just blows up big time. And that'll carry us for weeks and right into football. Which carries us through to the end of the year.
And that'll be fun until we get Major League Baseball. 2031, how you doing? Let's go.
And then after that, the Jazz will be rolling, the hockey team will be rolling, and that'll carry us into the winter.
And we'll be right back here again.
Yeah.
Yeah. With more playoff teams and more playoff games.
Yeah, I'm fine with it. Well, fine with it. That's the understatement of the year in terms of my employment.
That's why we got into this.
I'm ecstatic for it.
Will Oklahoma City bounce back tonight? I'm expecting they will. I expect the long playoff series. I don't expect either team to go out and pull away.
Well, Holmgren and SGA have to play better. We've got to make more shots.
Fact.
Got to make themselves more of a prominent player in each individual role that he has for the team. I mean, it did take a lot for San Antonio to win that game. It's not a breeze.
Wembanyama had to go off, and then he had to hit a deep three on top of that, which is weird that he was from almost the exact same spot that Steph Curry hit one to break hearts there a few years ago. But nonetheless, he did it. And hearts were broken again. But it's just one game. 7-game series, long way to go. Can't rationalize like that if they drop game 2 tonight. Hard to say must win.
Massive hole.
Hard to say must win in game 2, but they really need to win this.
Massive hole. Any team that goes down 0-2. And obviously, from the psychological reasoning,
dropping 2 at home sucks.
Yes. Although I don't think it's impossible for
it's been done before. It is not impossible.
And his guys to win 2 games on the road. But I'll turn it on and we'll see what happens. I can't predict anything. I expect those 2 guys to have more influence on the outcome than they had in game 1.
Cleveland. In Cleveland. Made a mess out of that. 22-point lead with 7.5 minutes to go. I forget what the number is. Elias Sports Bureau spit it out. I think it's teams were 0-636 or something over the last 30 years. Unprecedented in this century. And yet, that 18-1 run, it was just too easy. They got back too quickly. And I still thought Cleveland's, they're going to hit a couple shots here and hold them off.
I did too.
And then when I started to doubt that, Harden actually hit a shot, and he was 1 for 6 in the fourth quarter. But he hit the one with 30 seconds left. They got a good shot, and he made it. And it's like, okay, it's one stop, they grab a rebound, and they win this game, and it's crazy.
That's all that matters.
It's a crazy fourth quarter, but it's 1-0. But Brunson scored again, and Sam Merrill's shot spun out. I got to say, I didn't think Cleveland was going to score with 3 seconds left. I thought it was headed overtime for sure. And then I saw the shot he got and saw the ball halfway in. I was like, he's going to win. It's like it was San Diego State in the Mountain West Conference tournament all over again. Sam's going to be the hero again, and then it spun out.
Well, he certainly wasn't the GOAT.
No. No, actually, in the 11 points.
To be dogpiled.
Yeah, in addition to, he's there to make shots, but he had to play where he drove to the free throw line, drew the defense, turned around and kicked it to where he'd been, and they got an open 3 and made it. It's like a rare assist. Somebody made a play for somebody else.
If he would have made that shot, it would have been the greatest shot by a Latter-day Saint since Danny Ainge against Notre Dame.
There you go.
You're running through him, but you can't top it.
Oh, it would be him in the Mountain West Conference tournament in Vegas. Yeah. See, Jimmer, the shot he hit individually was in a blowout. I mean, the half court at the Huntsman, everybody remembers it. But
I was there.
But they were going to win the game. They already had a big lead. It was already clear what was going to happen. It was just punctuation.
It was nice of him to show up.
If you were a Cougar fan, not if you were a U fan. And then the game he had against New Mexico, I just don't think there was one signature shot. He had a great game, I think, against Florida in the NCAA tournament. I don't think there's a signature shot. It's a great game. He piled up the points.
Oh, I think his best game was New Mexico in the semis of his senior year.
Right, that's what I'm talking about. Yeah, he absolutely went on. He had 50, right? 49, 50.
I think he had like 53.
Oh, 53, okay. Just massive.
Something like that.
Just every time down. They've got to go to him, and New Mexico knows it. Can they stop him? No. Just over and over and over.
Yeah.
And I'm running through big huge shots, but it's Keith Van Horn. So.
Well, he had a couple at the buzzer in the Mountain West tournament.
Yeah.
I guess it would have been the WAC tournament.
Yeah, it was a WAC tournament.
Yeah. So, but it didn't go in. If I'm Cleveland, I am so irritated to the point I want to play today. But I don't think I'm discouraged. You got 3 more chances, assuming you push it to 7.
Doesn't Oklahoma City feel exactly the same way? They get to play today. They already had their day off. But they're not discouraged. They're irritated. should have won that game.
Well,
Oklahoma
but I
State-
don't think that Oklahoma City was a 99% chance to win.
No, but I think Oklahoma City still feels like we made a gazillion mistakes.
Oh, yeah.
And we should have won that game. There was really no reason to lose it. And then we fought back through all the mistakes and trailing the whole game, and we had it. And then Big Vic throws one in from 38 feet or whatever it was.
Well, I think he shot it in form.
He did, but nonetheless. Once you get outside of 30 feet, the percentages drop. Even if you're Damian
Sure,
Lillard
but you
and
say
Steph Curry.
throw it in.
He did. The form was good considering really how fatigued he was and how tired he was late in the game. And he talked about it after the game and how many minutes he played and the energy he put out. He was playing hard battling for those rebounds. He got 24 of them. But yes, his form was good. The feet were set. It was even. It wasn't an off-balance runner. He's running up court, but his momentum, got balanced.
Right.
Yeah.
Fine shot. Looked
He
awesome.
drained it.
I think that if I were to say in analyzing these two teams, I think Oklahoma City has slightly better personnel, but Big Vic is Big Vic. And he can influence a game from so many ways. You can argue there's not a player in the league right now who influences winning and contributes to winning in a more diversified way than he does.
Yeah, I get it. Contribute to winning in a diversified way. Right now, I would say Big Vic and the Joker. They both do a lot of stuff. But the thing you got to go with Big Vic first is he isn't just a good defender. He is a massive, imposing force. And the Joker is not.
I mean, he's just so long.
Right. The Joker can shoot it, pass it, and rebound it.
He's not a long 7-footer.
He is not.
This guy seems to have arms and legs that are extensions. And so you're blocking 12 shots in a playoff game? My goodness, that's going to get my attention every time. And you're not one-dimensional or largely one-dimensional. That's very impressive. So right now, today, he's the best player in the league.
Coach is getting fired. I know SGA got the MVP, but if you take SGA off the Thunder, they're still a playoff team. If you take Big Vic off the Spurs, are you sure they're a playoff team?
Well, I would want to see it because then other guys have an opportunity to step up.
I would say no, not yet. They might be on their way. They have some promising young guys, but it's been accelerated because of his greatness.
Sure, you go Castle and Harper, but then a guy like Fox, would he have a bigger role into where he could do some more stuff?
I can see where Big Vic, because of the roster, is more valuable to Oklahoma City than SGA is. And SGA is an excellent player, not dumping on him, but they have a better roster. They would still be, I firmly believe they'd still be a playoff team without him.
Okay.
And I do not have anywhere near that level of confidence in the Thunder without
I hear you,
Wembanyama.
Twin. I hear you.
Coach is getting fired. What a day. Dallas Mavericks parting ways with Jason Kidd. There's plenty of reports out now that Kidd wanted out. Whatever conversations they'd had, he got passed over for the job.
Don't
and
kid
then
yourself.
Whatever conversations they had, give me my money, I'll get out of your way. You get your guy, I'm out of here. Vegas will not let Edmonton and L.A. interview Bruce Cassidy, who they still owe for a year's worth of work. The Canucks fired Adam Foote. So, coach is getting fired all over the place.
I think Vegas won't do it until a settlement is reached.
Yeah.
And what are they looking for?
Money back. We don't want to pay you $5.
Yeah. We've seen
would
that
be
occasionally.
Negotiated in a new deal wherever you would go.
Yeah, and so what do you get compensation? Isn't there been some NFL teams that wanted compensation?
Yeah, if you trade, you can trade head coaches in the NFL.
Yeah,
wasn't it? Gruden got traded, and they got
right.
There's a certain level of pick you get out of it.
Yeah. Go back and forth. Have they done that in baseball?
It wouldn't surprise me.
I kind of think they have. I can't remember. We got to ask. We have the daughter of a former big league manager going to be playing basketball for the University of Utah. Did you guys see that?
Who?
Joe Girardi's daughter.
All right. I did not see that.
Yeah.
I missed it too, yeah.
She was at Oklahoma State. She transferred in. We got to get her on. Talk some baseball. Joe Girardi, former manager of the Yankees. I think he's current broadcaster now. Yeah.
He's had a good long career in baseball.
Yeah.
College baseball, BYU beat Texas Tech, but Utah got knocked out of the Big 12 tournament 9-5 at single elimination. BYU's got to play today. This is a half dozen teams getting double byes, so BYU's going through pitching, and the only way to get the NCAA tournament is to win this thing. They got to win 5 in a row. It seems very, very unlikely. But
yeah, but they 10-run Texas Tech. You got a little bit of redemption and claim some satisfaction. Take that, Cody Campbell.
They're not investing in baseball. They're invested in softball. That was a heck of a game.
Oh, I was dancing on Texas Tech's grave when the Sun Devil women beat them to win the Big 12 championship, which I believe was their 4th or 5th. Now, they sponsor 26 sports, which is way more than anybody in the conference. So they got one in softball, and then they won. Oh, and then they grand slammed 8-run, I guess it isn't just softball. They grand slammed Texas A&M.
Take that, SEC.
And we're going back in the Super Regional, and we're going to punk Texas. Bring all your Texas teams, and we're going to whip you.
You took down Tech. You took down A&M. Now?
The big dog.
UT, baby.
Yeah.
College golf. BYU, final round of the 3-round NCAA regionals today. Carlsbad, California. The Cougars sitting in 5th with a couple of schools 1 and 2 shots behind them in Charleston, Illinois.
Carlsbad. They're trying to get to Carlsbad.
Oh, they're trying to get to Carlsbad.
They're in Athens, Georgia.
I've been to Carlsbad, and you should try to get to Carlsbad.
They're at the University of Georgia. Okay. So BYU, it's hanging in the balance today. The Utes.
So is Bruce Brockbank's career.
The Utes backed up. So they are now 15 shots behind the 5th place team.
Is Johnny's son going to get that gig?
I would imagine Todd's on the short list, if not the favorite for it. He's been the director of golf for however long he's been there.
Yeah. Maybe Johnny would want it.
Seems like a natural transition.
Hey, Johnny, you want to come down from Red Ledges?
I think he sold his place up there is what I was told.
The Mets going to Met, PK. An inside the park home run. Did you think that was scored generously? Should that have been a 4-base error?
No.
There's little Keystone Cops out there at the wall. But he
left his feet and goes up against the wall. And then it ricochets. The center fielder has no idea where the freaking ball is.
No. It didn't look good.
And the left fielder stands there thinking the center fielder is going to go get it.
And now the ball's rolled away, and it's okay. Yeah, a little league home run feel to it.
And James Wood gets one. Corbin Carroll last night for the Diamondbacks, he, in the first inning, he gaps one to left center, and he's really fast, right? So he's going to go for 3, and he's booking it, and he slides, and as he's about at the shortstop, where the shortstop would play, his helmet comes off, right? So his head's exposed. The relay from the shortstop, I think, maybe second base, they throw it to third, hits him right square in the noggin, in the back of the head.
Ow.
He's sliding, right? And it ricochets down the left field line. And the third base coach is yelling, "You got to go, you got to go, you got to go." And he's like, "My head hurts."
I'm dazed. I'm dazed and confused.
So it takes him a second.
But because the ball was so far away.
Yeah, and then he gets up and he runs, and he's like, "I just got in the head, man." And they take him in the locker room. He stayed in the game. But, yeah, directly in the head. He's probably got I wouldn't be surprised if he's out today. He's got a little goose egg there.
All right, DJ and PK, stay with us. Coming up next, it's your feedback on the way. DJ and PK, it's time for your feedback. What do you have to say about today's show? Should BYU versus Notre Dame be played annual? An annual football game with the Cougars and the Irish. From Dumb and Dumber, Jim Carrey. Yeah. Big 12 runner-up is all about it. Why are we talking about it? Just go do it. The dude says, well, doing so would put BYU's strength of schedule continually at the top of the conference and bring it closer in line with the Big Ten and SEC, eliminating legitimacy questions when the playoff selection comes around.
Hopefully.
Oh, I was going to say, possibly, probably,
yeah,
not assuredly. Sam, maybe 2 out of 4 years, we should have some scheduling flexibility. I guess Sam wants to see somebody else.
Well, you have 2 other games.
It's just accepted at this point that one's a money game with a FCS opponent, and then one is against a Mountain West or Pac-12 team.
accepted?
I think that is commonly believed.
Probably better, I guess, for you from what you want and what you need and what you have to do when you get into the Big 12 schedule.
Don't get too beat up. Don't give yourself another chance to lose.
That's the theory. I think it's more about losing. I don't know that any of these teams, one is where you'd be just scot-free and not have to worry about any injuries and the toughness and the physicality. That's just the nature of the game.
And really, even how hard the game would be. Teams are going up and down these days. Transfer portals and coaches move. And Iowa State's got a really good program 1 minute, and then the next minute, total turmoil. People don't know each other's names.
That's true. You never know what's going to happen.
You don't know when you're going to get a team. There was a time where Houston was really good. There was a time where Houston was way down, and now it looks like Houston's on the way back. But Houston's one big year away from having their coach poached by somebody with more money.
Yeah, I can tell you Whittingham and I, for the years, have had many discussions where he said, if I could only coach at Michigan.
You did not. Literally on nobody's radar, including his.
Until it was.
Until it was. Do you think it was on his radar the day they let Moore go? Or did it take a little bit of time?
He claims that he doesn't know
what day he was
that
on
they
the radar?
went through Tollner and, who contacted whom. But
at the time, I can believe they went to the agent first, but I got to believe he's looped in pretty quick.
Oh, for sure.
Come on.
I think there was an idea that this will be discussed, and then we'll go from there. And once it was discussed, we will not only go from there, we will literally go to there. And it was quick. And why wouldn't it be quick? I mean, very few chances are you going to get a coach of that caliber who then becomes renewed and wakes up every day saying, okay, who can I get back today? Who can I show today who I am?
Yeah. The only part of it that struck me as weird, I don't know if we've talked about this, what I didn't like, they did the thing, and I know why they did it. I know how it plays with Michigan fans. He walks into the big house, coming from little old Utah, and he looks at, wow. And I walk in, I'm like, he coached there multiple times. It's not his first time in the stadium. It was on TV. We all saw it. He's been back there 3 times. Twice as a head coach, once as a coordinator. But walking in and things covered in snow. Oh, wow, I've never seen some place as magical as Michigan. Stop it! You went to Michigan and beat them. And then you went to Michigan and you beat them again. And they're like, well, it's different when it's empty. Yeah, it was empty after the storm. When Utah was handed to Michigan, their fans went home.
Well, everything is social media available.
I know.
Now,
they had to do it.
I
get it. It's like walk down the tunnel and we'll look up. So he looks up and they shoot the video.
This is the greatest sight these eyes have ever seen.
I know. It's kind of
Rudy.
They played Michigan 4 times and 3 of them were in Ann Arbor. We all know that.
Oh, yeah. He is. Psychologically and mentally and confidence-wise, he doesn't take a backseat to anybody.
All right, DJ PK, we're out of time. Coming up next, Scotty G and the coach Tim Lacombe. Stay with us.
Hey, it's your ceiling vent, so I'm dripping. Could be the rain, could be the upstairs bathroom. Yikes. You could hire the guy your neighbor recommended, but I'm pretty sure that's just his cousin. Do we know if he's licensed, or does he just own a ladder?
Listen to your home. Go with Thumbtack. Upload a photo or voice note and we'll diagnose your project and match you with the right pro for the job. Thumbtack. We know homes. Hire the right pro today.
The question isn't whether the world is changing. It's whether you'll be ready for it. At Arizona State University, your education is built around the careers of the future. You learn from renowned faculty and researchers who are driving their fields forward, not just teaching about it. It's why we're ranked #1 in innovation and #2 in employability among U.S. public universities. Future-proof your career. Explore more than 350 programs at asuonline.asu.edu. That's a degree better.